Shields up, Ironbreakers. Rurikhan here, coming at you with another episode of the Third Fleet Podcast. This is episode, what, 16, 17? I forget.
15, 16, I think.
I think it's 16 as well. And for today's episode...
Don't quote me on this.
For today's episode, we have a special guest. Welcome to the show, Kogath. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you guys today?
Wow, man, you didn't even tease it. You just went straight in. So we got
what do
no
you
drum
mean?
roll?
What do you mean?
I thought you say, "Who's going to be our guest today?" You know what? Never mind. It's going to be blown in the thumbnail.
It's like, who's it gonna be? It's not like it's typed in the thumbnail. It's a big secret.
God damn it.
Gaijin,
I think he wanted a drum roll.
Okay, here you go.
Who's it going to be, ladies and gentlemen? Our special guest of the evening. He stomps your dreams. He manages your wiki. He's your community grandfather. We have Kogath.
Oh, I'm grandfather now, am I?
Did you say community grandfather?
Yeah, I'm making him old now.
Oh, man. How, well, I'm not sure if you want to reveal that information. How old are you, Kogath?
I'll be 35 in July.
Oh, he's young.
Still older. He's younger than us, dude. How are you going to call him a grandfather? But then again,
the ancient elders.
You are not a third fleeter, are you, Kogath?
No, sir. I started with the first game.
Damn, dude. I heard that the controls in the first game were with the thumbsticks for actually attacking and stuff like that. Can you imagine those controls nowadays?
It would be a little hard to do. There's just too many movements now.
Yeah, back in the day.
So I have to ask, because I'm curious, because I don't talk to a lot of first fleeters, but I can imagine it was a very niche, very underground title back in the day. How the heck did you even discover Monster Hunter?
I just saw it at a local game store and looked at the box, and I was like, oh, this looks kind of cool. Big dragon on the front. Why not try it?
The rest was history. Did you like it at first, or were you like us and you weren't sure about it?
It was pretty easy at first. I mean, I cleared Velocidrome pretty easy, and then I got to Yonkutku, and that thing just steamrolled me. It's like, okay, now I'm going to take a while, grind out, and try and beat it again and again and again until I finally actually did it, and it just hooked me.
So for someone who actually got to experience the true sensei, which is Yonkutku, how do you rate him on the list of all the senseis in the game? Is he the best?
Now, what do you mean by senseis?
Like the first large monster that really teaches people the game. Like the first encounter that I wouldn't say wall, but like you don't really understand the mechanics of like a large monster hunt until you really encounter your first large monster. And so they kind of like they're a wall, they kind of teach you the ropes. You learn about enraged and not enraged. You know, it's just teaching you how to play the game, so to say.
Back then, it was almost a little unforgiving, and you're still learning the game, how it works, using the analog sticks to control, which I've never seen on any other game.
The crazy chicken gave you a run for your money then?
Oh, yeah, because you laugh at it the first time you see it. It's just this big pink chicken, and then it starts throwing fire at you and charging at you.
So it was a very mean sensei. It was like that I've never seen a movie, but that clip of that orchestra teacher like ripping into the player. No, again.
The Whiplash, that's Whiplash. I really like that one. That was really cool. The guy was a drummer, right? That's the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
And the dude who's teaching him is Jonah Jameson from Spider-Man, right? From the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, I think. That was a good one. I really like that movie. The movie was cool. Dude played the drums until he was bleeding from his hands and stuff like, oh, yeah, go.
Oh, wow. Starting in Monster Hunter 1, though, that's the journey. My gosh.
A friend of mine also started with Monster Hunter 1. He's the guy who kind of like got me into Monster Hunter. And I remember a while back, like a couple of months ago, he was showing me the game. He was like, oh, this is the one that really mattered. And then I was like, oh, really? And he's yeah, like, check this out. And he goes and I think he was also fighting at Kutku and he got his ass kicked. And I was like, wow, I can see you were really good.
That sounds about right.
I can see you were really good, dude. So,
So I have to ask this one. What weapon did you start with the great sword? Is that where the love for that weapon started? Was Monster Hunter 1?
I did. Yeah, I was always a great sword user, and it actually wasn't so hard to use on the analog sticks because there's not that many moves to it, especially back then. Sword and Shield was also a favorite of mine.
Yeah, because you couldn't even charge the great sword back then. That mechanic wasn't introduced yet.
Correct.
Just
You're,
swinging around the big sword.
you're just slapping monsters. Like my friend used to tell me all about that. Back in those days, to fight Arathalos, it was all about the lance. You'd get a headlock with the lance because you'd basically
It's
just.
Like
Lance was OP back then.
It's still OP, guys. I don't know what you're all talking about. Nothing's changed.
I mean, it's pretty good, but why would you play the lance when you can just play the fun lance? It's the lance. It's just more fun.
Amazingly, there was a gun lance back then, but it was a fire element lance.
Oh,
That's the
really?
only difference to it. It was a fire element lance. That was before they split it
Interesting.
off to its own weapon type.
It wasn't, yeah, and there was also like great swords that looked like long swords before they were officially their own weapon class, right?
They were actually a pretty good line. I enjoyed that one. There's one weapon I would bring back. Well, actually, it's been back recently, but I wish they'd make it its own weapon type, the gun
Oh.
hammer.
Yeah, I've heard about that one. My friend used to tell me about the gun hammer as well. Did it actually have unique mechanics, or was it just like a hammer except it looked like a gun? No.
It looked like the barrel of a revolver, and when you charge it, the hammer would actually pull back on it.
I like
I
when
gotta
they
look this
give
up later.
I like when they give those crazy animations to some of the weapons, like we've seen in some of the Rise footage. That all mecha looking hammer, it spins when you charge it, like, and you got the chakrams when it comes to the dual blades. I like those little details on the animations of the weapon. It's interesting to see that they were doing that stuff all the way back then.
Yeah, as a greatsword user, I love it when I charge up my greatsword and I see like parts of it open up or start to glow, just make it really seem like, yeah, this next hit's gonna hurt.
And then you whiff if you're me. It's like, man, I destroyed that air. That ground is hurting.
Just a warning shot.
Just to get them started. So, you guys have met before, though. You guys were together at E3 during the reveal of Monster Hunter World, which was
oh yeah,
that was really surprising because I kept telling everyone this was before Monster Hunter World was announced, and I got a Switch, and people were like, "So, do you think the next Monster Hunter is going to come on the Switch?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, 100%. Like, next Monster Hunter 100% going to be on the Switch. Like, they're going to bring double crossover. They're totally going to do it." And then there's the GameStop article or whoever it was that reported on it. It was like, "Yep, Double Cross is not coming to the West." And I was like, "God damn it." So they were saying that it was not going to come, and I was like, they're totally going to do a Monster Hunter for the Switch. And then suddenly Monster Hunter World, PlayStation 4, like, what is even going on? Like, this is completely insane.
And it came out in
wow.
It was one of those things where it's like America normally doesn't get the chance to reveal something first, and having it come out of the West first was just unheard of.
It was mind blowing, and it was just weird because like it was just one of those years where a lot of people were at E3 for some reason, and it was just like it's just like the stars aligned, and it was just like crazy because that was my first E3 ever. I've never been to E3. I had some another matter that had me in California at the time, and I had a free day to go to E3. And it was just like, boy, what if there was ever an E3 that you just happened to be able to go to? That was the one, you know.
I am so
me and you. Eric's was down there at the time, and
I was gonna
everybody. Duncan was there. Yeah, we had 269 was there.
I was gonna
Germany
actually
was
ask. I was gonna ask if you guys if Capcom had reached out to you guys because there were a lot of people there. I'm actually super jelly because that was one of the years that I skipped E3. I mean, I've only been there I think like 2 or 3 times. But that was one of the years that I was like, okay, this year I'm not going. Probably nothing important's going to happen. And I was like, God!
All the ones to miss, you choose that one.
Yep. Very frustrating.
At least for me, it wasn't. They didn't call me out, but it was one of those things that once it was revealed, it's like, hey, you're in town? Come on in, come on over, And then they were calling everybody in and saying, come on over. But
once we were there, they were trying to gather us all up, be like, hey, come on over here.
Dude,
we'll get you in. We'll get you.
The interesting thing is that if I was at that E3, I was gonna be like on the stage that thing was revealed, because I would probably have gotten an invitation to be at the Sony E3 presser, which is where they revealed that thing, and I was like, God damn it, I really missed out. But it's just a huge expense for me to freaking go there. Like just the plane tickets is like $3,000 or something. At least back in the day, it was like just $3,000 just to fly there, to go there and back. Plus having to stay there was another God knows how much, because staying in California has always been completely insane. So yeah, it was just very something that you would have to consider in terms of an expense. If I knew that game was there, I would have gone, but I had no idea.
Yeah, that would definitely be a justifiable expense.
Yeah, but that was one of those like magical moments where you're friends with somebody, you know them. Like I had, we were already friends, and then I had never met him, and then you start meeting everybody in the flesh, and you're like, Kogath, is that you? Wait, is that you? It's like it was a really interesting thing.
And most people don't even know what I look like. As you can see today, I'm pretty camera shy.
I feel so lonely being. I feel so lonely being the only one on camera. Just like sitting over here, is like, yep, don't even worry about it.
Yes, I do go on camera just for the recording of the podcast, just not for the audio portion.
This is true. I can actually see Gaijin when we are recording. You guys can't though. There you go.
Yes, he sees me all sleepy and slap happy.
Sleep deprived is the word that I would use.
Worth it though. It's been a long time since we've got to talk, and it's good to see you again.
No, it's very good to see you. Well, hear you.
So
yeah, so we got together at E3, and we got to meet each other at the Capcom booth, which is great. Capcom was being awesome, and they were like getting us into like the this little private booths where they were explaining the game and doing like a hands-on demo. Tokuda-san was there and doing his thing, and we all we're running around being invited to these scenes and seeing them and just trying to chill and talk. But it was just like so much going on, and everyone had so much to do. It was kind of weird, but we got to go out for, I want to say, lunch afterwards.
I think it was lunch.
Yeah, so me and Kogath got to go out, just the two of us, and chill and talk, and that was really fun.
It was kind of like my older brother hanging out,
It is one of those things that when you've known someone like online for a good long while and then you finally get to meet in the same physical location, it is indeed something special. Like I've had that experience multiple times with some of the friendships that I've made over the internet, and it is really a special moment. I actually got to spend like a week where it was also in California with a couple of friends. It was during BlizzCon, because we used to do a lot of content for games from Blizzard and stuff, and that is just completely magical. It is very, very special. So I can imagine that you guys had a complete blast. You guys only had lunch, like that was it?
We only really got to spend one day together. We did do a lot while we were there, though. Do you remember the interview booth they had, where they had it so it was just a clear glass window?
Oh my God!
I don't know why they went for that. And you could see the people going around in the con behind you. And there was one point where me and Gaijin realized that they were doing a interview. I can't remember who was in there at the time.
It was both Capcom guys. It was Yuri, another Capcom guy. Then it was Fujioka-san and Tsujimoto-san doing their show.
And then we got the fun idea to prance in front of the camera. And I think we even did the shadow boxing emote in front of it.
See, we trolled the hell out of it.
Now you guys are just giving yourselves away, because people are going to go watch that footage and they're going to figure out who you guys are. They're going to find you in camera.
I always find it funny that people are like, oh my god, we got a face reveal for Gaijin. I'm like, I have blogs on my channel in which I'm like full on camera talking to people. My whole trip to Sendai was a video blog that's 2-3 hours long. I'm like, you all suck at searching for videos if that's what you're really, if you're thirsty for that, which I don't know why you would be, but
Yeah, I've shown up on camera a couple times. I try and make it a rare appearance. I don't really like the camera that much. Anytime I go to Capcom for streams and stuff, they put me on the camera in front of everybody. And it's always weird, especially like I think the last time we did it, it was for either Generations or Generations Ultimate. And I was trying to play the game on my Switch, but still trying to keep eye contact with the camera, so I was interacting with the crowd, and it was just made me play that much horrible because I was trying to pay attention to two things at once.
And that's usually when people, whenever you're someone who's known in a community and people see you actually play the video game, and then they look at your gameplay and it's like, this guy sucks. I'm better than him. Like, that's usually what people think. They're not aware of like the efforts that someone is making for like paying attention to the game, paying attention to what people are saying, paying attention to a crowd. And they're just like, psh, could play better than this guy. Not even a problem. Easy. But then if they were found in the same situation, they'd be like, oh, this is actually a little bit overwhelming. Like all these things happening all at the same time. It's so crazy.
What do you call it? Sensory overload?
Yeah, sensory overload.
And I never try and play as a like time attack kind of player. I just, I hit it until it's dead. I don't go for those records. I'm not to that level like Kanta and Nightside and all those guys.
Dude, I remember one of the times I was watching Kanta and he was playing the Gunlance, and I was like, stop! How are people going to think that I'm good at this weapon if you keep playing it? Just stop doing it.
And it's just crazy how skilled they are. I wish I had just a fraction of that skill.
Yeah, watching Kanta
I'm a scrub, but I'm proud of it.
Watching Kanta is always pretty freaking awesome. I just look at some of the stuff that he does and I was like, oh, all right, yeah, I'm not doing that.
As I say, if people haven't watched Kanta, it's like it explains why during the demo 2 release, I tweeted out, I'm like, Magnamalo is trying to attempt to take down Kanta in 15 minutes. Can he do it? People are like, wait a second. Oh, okay, I see what you did there.
Oh man, did you fight Magnamalo, Kogath? Did you beat him?
I did play it. I could not beat it.
How many attempts?
There were many times where there were just so many times where it would either one or two shot me, and I'm like, okay, I'll wait till the full game. I'll get you.
How many attempts did you give it? Did you give it? I gave it 1, and that was it. So that lasted very short.
I gave it at least a good dozen. I wasn't gonna give up right away, but
yeah,
it just did not turn out good for me.
What do you think about our chunky boy?
Which one?
Sorry, Magnamalo. I know everyone's being called chunky now. Sorry.
Yeah,
I forgot.
Yeah, I know, because like even the newest renders of like Nargacuga, everyone was calling it a little chunky too. But as for Magnamalo, I love the design. That is just beautiful creature.
I was surprised at just how fast he was, how he just like jumps off midair. Like the first time that I saw him do it, because I only did the hunt once. So the first time I saw him do whatever move it is that he jumps, and then while he's still midair, he like moves super fast. And I was like, where the hell is he going? This crazy bastard, just like so damn fast.
Yeah, I was not expecting a teleport at all from that monster.
Yeah, you could almost hear the crazy edits that Team Darkside tends to do with the Dragon Ball sound. Like jumping all
oh man, they do such good edits too.
Yeah, it's always good stuff. In the last one, because I've seen that their last one recently, they have it's actually funny because on top of it, it's friggin' Rajang, which Rajang is obviously, somewhat inspired by Super Saiyans and stuff from Dragon Ball. And he's glitching all over the place, and they just put the instant transmission sound. It's really funny. Oh, it's good stuff. But yeah, I put in 1 attempt on Magnamalo, and I just decided, look, if I get it, I get it. If I don't get it, I don't get it. And basically what I came to understand is that one of his attacks with his tail is unblockable. You're going to need guard up. And it could one-shot you, because it did. It one-shot me through a frame-perfect guard edge. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess it is what it is. And that was the way that he just killed me.
Is that the big thrust it does?
With the tail, yeah.
Yeah, that one's got a lot of range on it, too. It's hit me a couple times where I could have swore I was far enough away.
Yeah, he's a tricky one, that one. But other than that, how did you feel about the gameplay mechanics of Rise? As someone who has experienced all of the monster hunters, unlike the two of us.
I will admit it has made me feel a little on the older side. Getting used to the wire bugs is something I'm still working on. There's, I see all these other players zooming around with them, and I just feel clumsy with them.
So listen, I have this video. It's a tutorial. It's really good. I just like self-plugging my own videos. No, it's it takes a while to get used to it. Like at this point I probably have somewhere north of 100 hours in the demo. So yeah, it took a while to make it kind of like second nature, to the point where you're zooming all over the place. Not to mention it's also very weapon dependent. So some weapons take way more advantage of it than others. But I am curious about something. Considering that you play the greatsword, how did you like the Silkbind art that they gave you? I forget the name. What's the name of that art? The one where he jumps up and then just like
I can't remember. To be honest, I don't use the Silkbind art so much as a greatsword user. They require my weapon to be out, and it's normally I attack, I put it back. Attack, put it back. I'm not standing there walking around with the greatsword out. There's no maneuverability to it.
Yeah. Because that's the thing that I got from most greatsword users, is that nobody really wanted to use that Silkbind art, because it was just better most of the time, at least for me, because you usually have the weapon sheath, and you even have the incentive to sheath it using power sheath, so you're constantly sheathing the weapon anyways to get your buffs. And then on top of it, it was just easier to land if you would just do a regular Silkbind move and then just aerial attack the monster. It seemed like it was a much better way of using that wire bug than just using whatever moonsault crazy thing. It was even 2 wire bugs, I think, that thing. I was just like, dude, I don't understand this skill at all.
Yeah, I used 2, and it just was not easy to use at all. If anything, it makes me look forward to seeing what other ones will unlock during full game.
They actually revealed that one in one of the latest news blasts, one of the big digital event thing. What was it called? It was something adamant. It was some kind of like a charge forward that gives you rock steady.
Yeah, I think it's
adamant charge.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was adamant charge. Like yeah. So, and yeah, most people in the video that I made talking about it, most people are like, yep, as a greatsword user, I'm replacing that thing first chance I get, getting rid of it instantly. I was like, yeah, I'm not surprised. And I don't even play the damn weapon. It just doesn't seem like it was a very good Silkbind art. But, I could be wrong. Maybe someone will prove me wrong and be like, no, dude, this is actually amazing. Check this out. Because that's the thing. You can never really rule something out. I mean, even at the start of World, Team Darkseid's just like, hey, check out one of the best melee weapons in the game, the arrow.
Jeez, I remember that. We had the arrows and then the torch pods.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, some good
It's just
stuff.
interesting seeing stuff get patched out too.
Yeah. So that's something that we never had in past games. It's like if something was a little broken, like the Kelby bow, like that stuff would be patched out today, but we got to fully enjoy the brokenness of it back when it came out, which is good.
Yeah, back with the swimming.
Oh god, not the underwater combat. I can't deal with the underwater combat.
As I tell every time someone says that, all I know for sure is like they did not play Lance in Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate.
Nope. How'd you like the water?
You'd be like, underwater. I feel like I'm free. I can run around, do what I want. No restrictions.
Yeah, and meanwhile, greatsword was horrible underwater.
It's like I can't even. Could you even charge while you were underwater? How does that even work?
You could, but they move out of the way. I mean, I had to switch to longsword with fighting Sayadus. I had to switch to longsword and just hack away at it.
I can't believe.
Dirty?
Did you feel dirty?
Feel dirt getting the longsword on your guild card, and I'm sorry, great sword. You're not that great underwater.
I mean, it is a good backup weapon for me. That and hammer for stuff like Baroth, just to bust off its nose. But
yeah,
I am a great sword main, and that's what I enjoy.
And the lance, when you're underwater, you can just do because you have the target camera. You can just target straight to the monster. You can go ahead and do that dash where you just start, you run forward. You'll just swim. You'll just like a torpedo. So you can get to the monster at any moment you want. And you've got the upward and forward poke, so you're always hitting what you want. It's the perfect weapon. So good.
Only underwater.
What? Wait a second.
Oh snap! We got some beef. Great sword or lance. Let's see what the people in the comments are gonna say. You guys gonna go for the great sword? Or you're gonna go for the lance?
Oh, they're gonna go for the great sword. Everyone always does.
No.
It's the popular one.
They're gonna make the right decision, and they're gonna go for the gun lance.
Not to say you don't get to defend the lance here, my friend, because you're throwing shade at lance with your gun lance.
It is what it is. Although, like, I got done dirty in the vote. So Kogath, a while ago, I did these polls to try and ascertain the most popular weapon among my community for Monster Hunter Rise. And dude, my gun lance got done so goddamn dirty. Like they would not vote for it at all.
How low was it?
How low was I don't know, because it's like you can only have 5 items on a YouTube poll. So basically I did a tournament style. So I would pitch certain weapons against one another. But let's just say it wasn't in the final 4. Can you guess which one was the most popular? Which weapon do you think was the most popular among my community?
Just for Rise, I almost want to say Hunting Horn because of all the hype it's been generating.
It was among the top voted. It was not the most popular, but it was among the top voted. The top voted 3 were like almost tied. There was one of them was 28%, the other one was 27%, the other one was also 27%, and then the other one was like 19 or something like that. And Hunting Horn was one of the 27 ones. But yeah,
I would assume Longsword would be up there as well because it just fits the aesthetic of the game so well.
Nah, my community just like put that longsword exactly where it belongs. The trash.
Oh, no.
What's really funny is I did a tweet yesterday showing off me and Yuna posing with longswords, and there was more than one comment saying Rurikhan is going to lose his shit when he sees this.
Oh, I did see that post.
It's so funny. I just play into the meme at this point, and some people are even mad that I'm playing into the meme, and I'm just like, guys, it's a joke. Relax. I don't care what weapon you use. It's whatever. I just like making fun of longswords. But no, the actually most popular weapon among my community was the switch axe, and I'm not super surprised. Switch axe is amazing. It was one of the best things that they've done for that weapon, with some of the moves that it has, and just the new flow of it just feels so solid that, yeah, I don't know. It was crazy.
That's one I haven't picked up in a while. I still remember on Try, you unlocked it later on in the game, and it just felt broken because it came with the sword mode where you could just cut through anything. There was no bouncing at all. And you're like, wait a second, what is this? I'd use that to take on Rathian right away instead of wait until later. I just cut right through it.
Did the attacks at least well, you probably couldn't tell, right? If the attacks did less damage or not. I assume they still did less damage because you still get that little effect on it, right?
No, the little blood spurts, yeah.
Yeah.
But we didn't have damage numbers back then.
Yeah, so you couldn't really tell. It's like, oh, it slashes, it's real great. Here we go. Well, yeah,
I'm not bouncing, so I must be doing something right.
Friggin' switch axe was completely crazy. So, tell us a little bit about your history with the Monster Hunter wiki, because you're the big dog over there.
I wasn't originally. Someone else started it up back in, I think it was about 2007, and I hung around for a little while and went off to do my own things in other communities like Mindguard. Um, and then it was, can't remember what year it was, but a buddy of mine that was one of the admins at the time was like, "Hey, why don't you come help us fill this out?" So I just got so into it, and I always love working with communities and try and get information out to them as fast as I can. And it just grew. It continued growing. I got just so many edits on there in a little amount of time because I refused to do anything else, really. I was just trying to clean up all the old stuff. Like in the beginning, the color scheme for it was a lovely poop color. It was just browns everywhere, and I hated it. And I talked with Capcom, and I was like, "Can we please come up with a better color scheme for this?"
So I was
And
going to ask because
now
I don't know the inner workings of Wiki, but is Capcom involved at all with the Wikia, or if so, how?
they're involved kind of in a, how to put it, um, they assist in some ways not. Like they won't get hands on with it, but they can
Yeah,
help, like kind of give me direction on what I should work on or assets if I need them, if I can't find them, and just
nice.
kind of
But that's good to hear, though. They're supportive of the Wiki and they do what they can to help everyone out.
they try to be because they know I just sit there and if I don't have the data, I'll go through the game and find it if I can.
That sounds like a lot of work across. Like, I'm assuming the wiki has information on every single Monster Hunter game that ever came out. I don't consult it a lot. I'm gonna be honest. I usually just go through like the DB apps that you get on your phone because I started
Oh
playing
yeah, and those
on.
are great too.
Yeah, I started playing on like on Try. So after that, like Four had its app and Double Cross had its app and all of that stuff. But you guys
Yeah,
have.
basically I try and go through and at least figure out, what drops from what monster. And yeah, we go all the way back to the original. Of course, a lot of that data's old and really could be reformatted. One thing with Wikia, which is now fandom, I'm still used to calling it Wikia. Um, a lot of their old platform stuff isn't very good for mobile because back in
Yeah.
mid 2000s mobile wasn't that big of a deal. Now over half the views for the wiki are mobile, and so I have to somehow reformat everything. It's been quite a project.
Jesus Christ. What is
Yeah, and
your.
that's one of the reasons why a lot of people kind of give the wiki flack, and I don't blame them. Is that stuff isn't well formatted anymore, and it's kind of a mess. And I completely understand their complaints, and it's something I'm working on. It just might take a little time.
Jesus. Like what's the your least favorite aspect about doing wiki work?
Oh man. Honestly, just having the time to do it. In recent years, I've had to scale back a lot because my real work, it just takes up all my time. I work 12 hours a day, up to 5 days a week.
Yikes.
Yeah, and then imagine like because I almost feel that a lot of times communities take some of these efforts for granted. The wiki is there. It's just I can go there and
Yeah.
I can check it out whenever I want. They don't realize that there's someone that is basically doing that after they do their actual job. So basically, you go and do your 12-hour a day job, like you're saying, and then you come home at night. And what do? You know what? I'm going to go do some data entry on the wiki to update some information about, like, let's even just say Monster Hunter Dose, because why not?
Oh, geez, that old
which
game.
which probably has like 5 people playing it like through emulation or something like that. And they're like, God damn it, this stupid table isn't right. I can't get this goddamn thing to drop. I'm going to send in a complaint or something ridiculous like that. Oh,
I mean,
man.
on the good side and the bad side, it is public. It's anyone can edit as long as they make an account. But of course, that also means I deal with my fair share of vandalism, and those are always fun. But
Oh man.
I have a decent community of guys, regulars that do work when they can. And then, of course, you've met Bandla Cruz, and
Yeah.
he is basically my right-hand man.
Has there ever been any funny cases of wiki vandalism like that just made you laugh? Like someone reclassifying Yan Cuckoo as an elder dragon or something stupid?
There have been. Kongalala is a favorite vandalism target. I mean, everyone likes the stinky monkey, of course.
What do they do to Kongalala's page? Like, poor Kongalala, he's actually suffering over there, getting his homepage vandalized.
One time, one person got mad at me because of, I was not allowing stuff to be edited or just kind of overwriting his work. And he ended up taking a picture of me and putting it as the profile picture for Kongalala.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing.
No, I thought it was funny as heck, and I was like, okay, yeah, you're done. Damn, that was funny, but no, you're done. Banned.
That is a funny way to go out.
I'm not just laughing because I'm laughing because I'm imagining imagine someone's playing the game, right? And then they log out of the game.
Look
and
it up.
No. They log out of the game, and there's this Kongalala that they were hunting. Kongalala's like, okay, he's gone. So Kongalala pulls out his laptop, logs in to the internet, goes to his wiki page, sees Kogath's face in there, and he's like, well, what the hell is this? Throws a mushroom at the screen and goes away.
So back when Frontier was still around, there was, I think it was one of the April Fool's quests, but it had either the producer or the director, I can't remember which one, but it had his face on a Kongalala body.
That sounds cursed. It sounds cursed as hell.
They had all kinds of really fun April Fool's joke type quests. Monster Hunter Online had one too, where it was a Yan Kutku at first, and then about halfway through the quest, it morphs its body into the skeleton of a Tigrex and just goes absolutely berserk.
What the hell? Tigrex Yan Kutku. That's like some really crazy wild stuff happening in Frontier. Did you play a lot of Frontier?
I did play it for quite a while, a couple years. I have a lot of screenshots still left over from it, and those were fun days. I mean, I loved how they kind of got to do their own thing and come up with fun stuff and just have a good time with it, especially with all their collaborations.
That's pretty crazy. Like, because I keep thinking, whenever I think about Frontier, I'm always wondering what was the payment model behind Frontier, right? Because this is not your traditional MMO, and it did have some kind of a subscription fee, right?
Yeah, it was your standard monthly subscription.
So you just paid a monthly subscription, that's it. But you did need to have like addresses in China, I think, right? Because that was it.
That was for Monster Hunter Online.
Okay, yeah. That was online.
Yeah,
yes, I also lived in China for a little bit when I was playing that.
Oh yes, yeah.
I lived.
You had to do some sketchy stuff to get into that one at first. I think it needed a Chinese social security number or something along those lines. It was crazy.
That was a fun game, actually. I'm going to give it some love. Like, of all, like, people will crap on it. Oh, there was this, China Monster Hunter game. It was good. Like, and it looked really good. They had some interesting ideas. So while it looked it was kind of weird. It was like a really pretty game, like next gen, but it played like it was like Monster Hunter 1 or something, like, or 2. It was a little clunky and a little, old school Monster Hunter, but overall I thought they did a good job on it. I mean, Capcom worked with them directly on that kind of stuff. I'm sure they learned a lot when it came to doing high resolution models and textures and stuff through all that.
Yes, because everyone wanted to see Kezu in HD.
our fleshy boy. And now he's got lipstick on. I love it.
Yeah, the updated model for him is really interesting, and it's one that I've always liked the monster. It's creepy. It's strange. I mean, my first interaction with it was seeing the little Kelby ecology video where it snakes its head down and swallows one whole.
What game was that in?
I think that was the first Monster Hunter, actually.
Yeah, ecology.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, back when they used to do just like FMV videos instead of, in gameplay videos.
In-engine cutscenes, yeah.
There were a lot of those that I'd like to see again, just because they were interesting. They brought a different level of the game to you. This is a living, breathing ecosystem, not just I'm going over here to boss rush. You actually got to see like Rathian taking care of its babies, and no one ever really sees that stuff.
Yeah, that's always one of the things that sometimes it's hard to explain to someone that hasn't played Monster Hunter, because you describe the game and you're like, so you fight monsters and then you get pieces out of them and then you craft armor. And people are like, so it's a boss rush type of game. That's the first thing that comes to mind. It's like, well, yes, but also no, because it's a hunt. And they're like, well, what does that mean? It's a hunt. And it's like, well, there's all this preparation stuff that goes into it. And it's not necessarily the easiest thing to explain, because everybody just thinks arena, boss fight. That's it, right? That's what Monster Hunter is. Just like boss fight after boss fight. No, there's so much more to it than that. It's freaking
That was
crazy.
one thing I liked with World, is you got to actually track down the monster, and that ecosystem did feel alive. There was all kinds of stuff going on in the game.
I almost feel like doing the meme about like IGN reviews. You really feel like a hunter.
Well, there was that.
It's immersive.
Yeah, it's very immersive. I remember that was that one review that guy did where he was just like, oh my God, I can't believe that I hurt this monster to the point where it's limping away. Oh, I feel so cruel. And then I have to go and I have to finish the job while it's whimpering and crying out in pain. And I'm just like, you could capture it. You could just put down a trap, tranquilize. You don't have to kill him. You could capture it. And like, oh, we're
could. But then you find out that's kind of a fate worse than death, since the guild dissects them and learns from them in depth.
Yeah. See,
like, maybe just straight up killing it would have been the better thing to do.
See, people always criticize me whenever I'm streaming, and I'm just like, nobody captures in my lobbies. In my lobbies, we kill things unless the quest says we have to capture, and then we capture it. But in my lobbies, we kill things. This is how we do it. We kill them. People think, oh man, Rurikhan's so evil. It's like, no, I'm sparing them from a much worse fate, from getting experimented on by the guild.
I mean, I understand they have to learn from the monsters somehow, but that can't be fun.
The guild almost seems like it has their own little dark agenda in a way. They kind of like, we talked about this last time with Band Legiacris about how sometimes it seems like they compartmentalize their information a little bit too much, almost like the government. They're like, oh, some certain things you're not allowed to know. We're very secret organization.
Yeah, I agree. And it's like Portable Third. They knew about Zinogre, but it was not available to hunt until they came down from the mountains and started attacking villages due to Amatsu being in the area. And now suddenly, oh, everyone, go kill those.
Yeah, hunting season's on.
And even when they do official announcements in Japan, one of their main catchphrases is that the hunting ban is over on certain species. Go kill them.
Kaikin is such a fun word.
What is Kaikin?
Kai means to release or to release an embargo or something, and kin means like an embargo or for being forbidden. So we use it for everything. The way it's like hunting kaikin means hunting's on, like it's the hunting season begins. Or another fun usage is like Beaujolais Nouveau. They always say kaikin, like this is the day we're finally allowed to drink it and sell it. So
that's cool. So doing all of this wiki stuff, you obviously get exposed to a large section of the Monster Hunter community. And there's been this kind of like ongoing debate that with the large popularity of Monster Hunter World, that the community has actually become a little bit worse than it used to be, because people look at the more old school Monster Hunter community as being a lot more inclusive, trying to get more people into the game and to be a little bit more supportive. And now with the introduction of Monster Hunter World, it almost feels like there's certain aspects of the community that have gotten worse, with people being more elitist and being more demanding about the things that the type of gear that you bring into a hunt and stuff like that. Is that something that you notice through the wiki, a little bit more toxicity since Monster Hunter World came out?
Not really, not on the wiki itself. I mean, I'll see it in social media and stuff like that, but that kind of stuff has always existed, really. Even back in the original Monster Hunter, we had, worldwide, or not worldwide, but just online mode, and there would be guilds out there that would be focused on killing things as most efficiently as they could. But there's also the casual group where all we care about is getting the job done. We beat that hunt. All right. I don't care how long it took me. I beat it. That's all that mattered. And, if ever we run into somebody that was having trouble, we try and either help them beat it or help them get better gear so they could beat it on their own. And, I kind of think it's just up to players themselves to help other hunters out.
Yeah, so would you agree? I have this theory that the overall overwhelming positivity of the community has not decreased pretty much in any noticeable way, even with the influx of like 13 million new hunters out there, which is crazy how much World was. I guess especially even considering that, withstanding all of that, the fact that it's still an incredibly overwhelmingly positive community, I kind of think that people are worrying about nothing. Like people are like, oh, the community is going, oh, I saw some bad comments. I'm like, I think if you look for it, it's always been there. And I think you're looking for it at this point, or the trolls are just having a really good time because people are picking it all up. So my theory is that there hasn't been much of a change.
Yeah, if people are being vocal about it when it's, all these trolls out there, of course they're the ones that are being the loudest. They're trying to cause a ruckus.
Exactly. I'm gonna state something in the most hyperbolic, crazy, exaggerated way and watch people get up in arms about it. I mean, they might say something ludicrous like, like Gammoth was a great monster, the Fated Four, or they might say that the gun lance is a good weapon, or
they might.
He is just taking shots today.
I guess the fact that he's sleep deprived, he just like starts jabbing in every single direction.
So like back with Generations, we had this group. We had me, Adam, Alex, Eric's Gaming, and Brad Diyoshi. We all decided, this is the Fated Four monster we're going to support. I got Gammoth. And I love her. She is amazing and beautiful. But that hunt's horrible.
The way that you said that, the way that you just said, I got Gammoth, it's almost like, oh man, I got this terrible disease. That's like... You're not doing yourself any favors. The way you said that is like, I got Gammoth.
The way and Kogath, you can correct me if I'm totally wrong here, but I think one of the things with Gammoth, it's kind of interesting, is like and this is really bizarre tidbits of info into weird Japanese stuff, but they have these like idol groups here in Japan where their job really isn't to sing or dance necessarily well. They're just supposed to, it's an idol unit, right? You have like 20 something girls dancing and stuff on stage, and they'll have these events where people pay money to get a handshake from one of them, and you'll line up at the booth of the girl you want to get a handshake and talk to. And there's always like that one member that no one goes to, and so she's like all alone the entire event. And then when that gets out, then people start flocking to her because no one liked her, and then they realize, oh, she's pretty cool. So I think Gammoth might be one of those things where it never got the spotlight for popularity, but if you actually look into it, Gammoth is an awesome monster, like a really cool monster, and I think one of the best theme songs as well. It's actually one of my favorites of all time.
It's one of those ones where if they would retune the fight somehow, make it more active, it'd be a lot of fun. It's kind of like Lao Shanglong, where nobody liked it. It was boring. It was really cool the first time you see it, just this giant, monstrous dragon that would just plow through the area until you realize you're just taking pot shots at it the entire time, and you're just like, can you please get to the final area so we can finish this hunt already? That's kind of how Gammoth feels to me. It's just slow. You're taking shots at it all day. If they could make it faster or stronger, I don't know. I'm not quite sure what they could do to make it a better fight. But I mean, even Lao, they made that one a better fight.
Yeah. Maybe for Monster Hunter Rise or Rise Ultimate, we get Apex Gammoth comes in and starts destroying the shit out of the stronghold, and we have a rampage against it.
Those look really fun.
Holy shit, Hunter! What is that?
Jesus Christ! Imagine a Gammoth in
there
the middle
she
of
blows.
All the chaos all of that chaos that we've seen in that Rampage footage. Oh. Imagine a Gammoth just trampling right through there, like taking everything ahead of it.
That's it. That's
something it could be good at for sure.
I don't know if people know this, but Gammoth was the first female species as a flagship monster, actually, which was nice to get that confirmation out there from the team. And I also think that Gammoth has I'm partial to Mizutsune, so that's my favorite, but I think ignoring Mizutsune, the next best armor design is Gammoth by far. That thing is so cute.
Oh, for the female armor? Yeah, it's adorable.
I've never seen the male armor.
It's actually
really nice.
I got super frustrated in GU because when I was looking for armors that I wanted to, what is the name of the system? It's not layered armor in GU. It has a different name. Whatever.
Transmog.
It's actually transmog. Okay. So the transmog system in GU, I was looking for armor and I was like, okay, I want an armor that looks cool for my character. So I'm looking through, and the armor that I really want to put on my character is actually Gammoth's, but it's the gunner version, and I can't do it because you can't put gunner armor on friggin' on Blade Masters. Yeah. So it does.
I am glad they condensed those because it was silly just having two different sets.
Yeah. So this actually brings me to a perfect segue to the question I want to ask, because this is what just happened to you, Rurikhan, which is, Kogath, where did your what do I call it? Your slogan, "Dreams Stomped." Give me the history of where that started.
Oh, geez. I think that started back in the run-up for Monster Hunter 4, it might have been. But basically, one of my things has always been trying to cut down on the amount of misinformation out there. And this actually involves you too, Gaijin, because you're the one that helped me with this one.
Somebody dodged a bullet there.
I was like, oh snap! Gonna get called out.
Shots. You want to talk about shots fired? Oh my god!
You like that run up on you? So there was somebody going around claiming that Nargacuga was going to be in, and you had just recently posted a picture from one of the guidebooks that was coming out that showed Nargacuga and the games it listed it was in, and Monster Hunter 4 wasn't in it, if I remember correctly. I think it was for 4 anyways. But I started posting that all over the place. Anytime people would be like, man, I hope Nargacuga is in, I'd come out there, nope, it's not going to be. Sorry. And then people just started coming up with that. It's like, wow, you just stomped on my dreams. Thanks. It's like,
okay,
hey,
so that was a natural. It just naturally came up, right? You stomped my dream.
Yeah, that's how I became the Dream Stomper.
Oh, I just realized how well that goes with the fact that you are the main supporter for Gammoth. Dream Stomped is really it's exactly what that monster does. It stomps shit.
Yeah.
Never thought about that. We got to get like an intro like animation for you, like a Gammoth step and say Dream Stomped.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, she can stomp.
I kind of hope.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I kind of hope she shows up in Stories too. I would have
my
her as a monster at any point.
Damn.
That would be nice.
She'd have to be huge though.
Not
No,
entirely,
no,
because
no.
Monsties are the baby versions of the.
They have versions of larger monsters that are smaller just for stories.
I don't know.
Is this
dude.
a game that we need to have him play?
What, Stories? Dude, I want to play Stories. I want to play Stories so bad, but it's like I can't play it.
He needs a controller.
Yeah, I can't play it on a cell phone, dude. Like I will sooner throw my cell phone into a wall. Like I actually bought it. I bought it on my Android phone, and I remember one of the first night that I was playing it, I was actually missing picking up the herbs from the field because like I kept running past it, and I'm like, pick it up, you bastard! Just pick it up. But I was actually thinking
there are apps out there that can do that.
There's apps that can do what?
Let you play with a controller, or there's apps that let you play on your computer, and you can map out controllers to it.
Yeah, I don't want to emulate it, but you have to tell me more about these apps that you can.
I forgot. Android lets you do anything if you want to break and tinker with it. I forgot about that.
You can even access the Play Store from your computer and use apps to play the games on your computer. So you're still buying the game.
Yeah, you could just like download Nox or something and just buy the game and play it. Like, I mean, it's just a desktop version of Android OS.
Yeah, it's just I don't like the idea of putting like my data on, because I've looked at some emulators and stuff, and I just go and I see, okay, this emulator's from China, this one's from China, this one's also mostly from China, and I'm just like, all right, dude, I'm not sure I feel comfortable inputting my friggin' Google password into these emulator things. Like, I don't know how I feel about that. But
now you're up against time. There's just no more time for you to go back and play Stories because you got Rise, you got Stories 2.
Stories 2 coming up in July, and you'll be able to play that, and it'll be on PC or Switch.
I'm 100% playing that. Like, if they put Stories 1 on Switch, I would have already played it 100%. But they didn't. It's on the 3DS, and it's like it's hard for me to play it on the 3DS because I even own it on the 3. This is the worst part. I own it on the 3DS, I own it on Android, and I still haven't played a damn thing. But I do like it because I played it. I don't know. I put in like maybe 3-4 hours when it came out on the 3DS. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. It's what I keep telling people whenever they ask me about the game. They're like, "Okay, so but what is it about Stories that's so good?" And I'm like, "So you know this game called Pokemon?" And I'm like, "Yeah. Well, it's that, except it's good."
Oh.
Shots fired.
I will
savage.
I will never not say that. Like, I'm sorry, especially after having played Sword and Shield. I'm like, I'm sorry. You guys deserve to listen to this every time.
Savage. So here's a question for both of you guys. I don't even have an answer yet because I've never thought about it. Give me a monster that you hope is a rideable monstie in Stories 2. Whether it's because you love the monster or Rurikhan, who do you want to ride?
I mean, Seething Basil Goose. I mean, it doesn't get much. And if I can't get Seething, then just give me regular Basil. But if I could, I'd rather have Seething Basil Goose. I mean, friggin' who cares about fighting other monsters fair and square? It's like, just like do a friggin' bombing run and leave. Like, I don't even have to fight. I just like keep going. Don't even stop. Like, you guys remember? You guys remember when they introduced Devil Joe in the cinematic where they introduced Devil Joe to Monster Hunter World? You remember that they showed the turf war between him and Basil Goose? And people are always telling me, oh man, clearly Devil Joe's the stronger one. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Devil Joe ate like a face full of grenades. They exploded on his face. And then at the end of that fight, Basil Goose lifts off and goes away. Doesn't even care. Just like dropped a bunch of bombs on him and left. Like, what do you mean Devil Joe wins?
It was a draw.
No. There's no draw there. Basil Goose beat the crap out of Devil Joe. It's that simple.
Don't they do like identical damage to each other though in the actual game?
I think they do.
Yeah, I think they do.
It's a
Devil Joe will always be really good memory to me, mainly because of Monster Hunter Tri, and this is something that has always kind of bugged me with Capcom's marketing strategy. They reveal everything way too early.
Yeah.
They show all these monsters off, and it's like, where's the surprise? Back in Monster Hunter Tri, when it was first out in Japan, no one knew Devil Joe was in that game. It wasn't until they got to high rank, were fighting Kuropeko for, one of the first hunts, and all of a sudden,
buddy.
It's like, wait a second, I don't recognize that roar it just did. What is that? And then here comes the giant pickle out of nowhere. Just destroys everybody. And it was so great because no one knew it was coming.
Yeah. So, I mean, they did the same thing with the world, right? They didn't talk about or reveal Basil.
Yeah.
But I think where they dropped the ball was, like you were saying, Kuropeko, it was a scripted event. Like, they knew they were going to get you. They had a quest. They had a monster that was going to call him. And they crafted a magical moment of terror. Where Basil, we went through all of high rank. You never ran into the monster. So we had to go back to face it, and after we got to master rank,
I think that after Iceborne, I don't know if they changed something, but I think he just stopped invading. Like I don't remember ever being invaded by Basil after Iceborne.
Yeah, it's like it could be cool, it could happen, or it could just not happen. It was a random kind of thing. So
in World, I remember I was invaded all the time. The first time I went through the game in high rank, I was invaded all the time.
I think the moral of the lesson is we need Kuropeko back in Monster Hunter.
100%.
I can agree to that one.
It's actually one of my favorite monsters. Like I love Kuropeko because I just love the sounds he makes with his little. I love that stuff. It's really really good. So yeah, I miss Kuropeko a lot because it was also in the first Monster Hunter that I played. So yeah.
That's an unfortunate thing about a monster like that. It supports the other monsters. I would always hate when I see it start singing and it's like, better hit it quick before it heals.
Well, I smack it in the face. It's like, psh, shut that trumpet up. But yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah, in 2021, the same thing goes with I think trailers for games and movies.
Yeah,
it ends up just being an edit of the entire goddamn thing. Yeah. And then it's like you watch it and you're like, okay, so you showed me 95% of everything.
Yeah, like
there's a lot of times I don't watch like any movies anymore because I've already seen all the major points in the trailers.
I think it's pretty crazy just the number of monsters that they've announced for Rise. Like I'm very curious to see what. I hope there's a lot more so that there's actually some surprises left because they've announced like what at this point. I think like 33 monsters or something, according to the last count that we did on one of the podcasts. We actually ran down the list, and it was like between announced monsters and teased monsters, there was like 32 or something along those lines. So yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if the number ends up being around 40-ish or so. I mean, this is a base game, so I'm not expecting there to be a crap ton of monsters that we haven't seen yet. So I would tailor your expectations there, but it's just unfortunate. It's just what they do recently, right? They show off a lot of stuff. So
yeah, they just show a lot at the beginning, and then we saw what looked like an elder dragon in one of the recent trailers. I have no idea what that thing is. It looked weird.
Yeah, I like the double mouth thing. It reminds me of the fossil that we see in the trailer for the fifth map, fifth map. I don't even remember the name.
Lava Caverns.
Lava Caverns. Yeah. So I'm intrigued. Color me intrigued.
I was when I first saw it because I haven't fought a Matsu that much because the The first, I mean, Amatsu was in Portable Third, right? So the first time that I fought him was in GU, and even in GU, I haven't fought him that much. So the first time that I saw this monster, I was like, "Is that Amatsu?" No. People were almost like offended. What the hell do you mean?
No. It's a very ugly ugly Amatsu.
Yeah, and a lot of people did think it was Amatsu at first until it opened its mouth, and you're like, "Oh, that's not right."
Amatsu's like evil cousin.
Ugly
cousin, yeah. Someone beat him up with an ugly stick a little bit too much.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it looks like my last count was 33 large monsters.
Yeah.
That's not counting the Elder Dragon, because we don't know what the heck it is.
It's like
or if it's even an Elder, really.
Yeah, we don't know. It could.
It's already like more monsters than we had in Base World. Base World was like, if I remember correctly, 31 monsters before the DLCs. 31 monsters and also 5 maps, I think. 31 monsters, 5 maps. That's pretty much what it was.
Yeah.
Which I think it's a good amount. We haven't even seen subspecies or rare species. I don't know if we'll get them before, an eventual Master Rank game.
Yeah.
So Kogath, I'm curious. I'm going to ask you. I did a poll on my Twitter. I'm actually going to find the results for this. But for both of you guys, I'm curious. Would you prefer them to stick with the lingo if they go and they do Master Rank? Or do you think it'd be cool for them to go back and say G Rank again? Or something completely different?
G Rank.
Now, see, I'm all for Master Rank, which is, probably amusing to some people since I'm coming from the original games. And I don't know, G just always felt like it meant nothing. There was never really, that I know of, they never really ever said what it meant. It's kind of like the Z in Dragon Ball Z. It just looks cool.
That's pretty much what it is. I mean, I think they said in interviews, G was like, it was great and guts and it just sounds strong, right? G. So they just went with it. And so you guys don't have this in the English version, but you know how like there's the like they have item names with G in the Japanese game still. You have like Mega Barrel Bomb G's or whatever potion G's. Like it's used much more often than they do in English. But you're right, it's made up. It's just it has a nice ring to it, so to say.
Now listen, they were planning ahead, okay? Because they didn't want it to do an expansion called Monster Hunter 5G because they knew that was going to be problematic. get your Shungite stones.
Play this game and it's going to give you sickness. Monster Hunter 5G.
No, but
need a tinfoil hat for that one.
In all honesty, you know what? The thing that you just said, Gaijin, makes me like G even more. The fact that it doesn't have any particular meaning, like, this sounds good. Monster Hunter G rank. Sounds awesome, doesn't it? Yeah. Make it that. It's like I just like the thought process behind it. They're like, what letter would sound good for the next rank? That someone goes up and says, U. Monster Hunter U rank. And he's like, no, that's stupid. And someone just goes, G, gangsta rank.
Okay, so I found the poll. So 9,134 votes. So it was a sizable poll. 58.6% said they prefer G rank. 9.5% prefer master rank. And 31.9% said it doesn't matter. They're both fine.
No, G rank.
So that is.
I actually think that it would be more interesting, for them to just do equal in both places. Like I thought they should have called it Monster Hunter Double Cross instead of GU. Monster Hunter Generations. Monster Hunter Generations. It was Monster Hunter Cross.
I really like Generations. It's a name. I really like that name.
I like
Me
Cross
too, because it's the anniversary game.
Yeah, it literally it features first, second, third, and fourth generations. It's a different approach to the game where Cross was all about, we're crossing hunter styles and hunter arts, and it's like it's the combination stuff. Generations I thought hit a really nice theme. So
Listen,
I'm a fan of it.
even the logo is way better because X's just look cool. Like when you see the X's with the slashes
but then they'll get the XXX and everyone's gonna make porn jokes about it, Like that's what people did. When Double Cross was announced, they're like, "Oh, great, Monster Hunter Triple X! Oh my god! Oh, it's a porn game."
They did that, really?
Yes, they
people
did.
Don't misunderstand how sexualized people think about everything, including logos.
Jesus Christ!
It's kind of crazy.
Nothing is sacred.
Nothing.
People have no shame whatsoever. It's like Monster Hunter Triple X, the porn game.
I mean, people think that Glavenus sounds like Glaive Anus, so
I don't get it. Now listen.
Be funny to me.
Now listen, just because my boy Glavenus beats the crap out of Mizutsune and Gammoth, you don't have to like feel bad about it. Some monsters need to exist so that they can be fed to other monsters, which is the purpose of Mizu. Mizu uses the soap and washes Gammoth down so that then Glavenus can roast it at the campfire that he creates and eats the Gammoth and eats the Mizu afterwards.
Jokes aside,
so where does Astalos fit in that?
I don't care about Astalos.
Oh. I was going to say that it brings up an actually funny thing people have mentioned, which I think would be cool, is I want to see a turf war between Mizutsune and Almudron, or whatever his name is in English.
Mud
Boy? The Mud Boy. Yeah, I really want to see just more turf wars in general, but those two specifically, we've got mud and we've got soap. I want to see Mizu just clean him.
I can't remember his name in English.
Almudron.
Almudron.
So I did get it right?
Yeah, Almudron.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm talking so much about this game with Yuna, and we're obviously talking in Japanese.
Yeah.
I guess that's not obvious for some people. But me and Yuna talk, and I'm trying to teach her English slowly, but we've spoken Japanese to each other her whole life. So, we speak Japanese.
And we all know how much people love to correct your pronunciations on the internet whenever we pronounce something.
So, Oromidoro is the name of the monster in Japanese. It's quite different than.
It's really funny to me with the set that we got from Behemoth, the Drachen set. Whenever I said Drachen set, people are like, "Why the hell did you say Drachen? It's Drachen." And I'm like, "No, it's not. It's a German word. You pronounce it Drachen. It's that simple." but then people get like all obsessed, like, "Oh, thinks he's so fancy pronouncing things in German." And then most people think that I'm American, which is also pretty funny, but
It's one of those things where I wish Capcom would put out a pronunciation guide, but even they don't follow it because
they don't follow their own guide. There have been
so many times during World and Iceborne where different NPCs will say it different ways.
Yeah, they're inconsistent. So I say anything goes. However you dream of pronouncing it. As long as you're not calling it fatalist, then we're all good.
I'm still surprised that Alatreon.
Wait, what did you think it was?
Alatreon.
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought too.
Alatreon, yeah. Alatreon.
I always thought Alatreon.
Wait, is Alatreon, is that what they actually pronounce it in the game?
That's the way that they said it in the videos. Oh yeah, they do pronounce it in the game as well, yeah.
But does the handler actually count?
No, I'm talking about the developer.
Watch out, part.
The Dev Diaries.
Matthew Mercer?
Okay. The Dev Diaries, they pronounced it Alatreon, and I was like, oh.
Alatreon.
I always thought it was Alatreon, but okay.
Get your tray on.
But it still hurts my soul every time I say Tigrex. That is painful. Like, why couldn't it be? That's the biggest one.
Yeah, growing up, it was always Tigrex to me.
Tigrex, yeah. It should be Tigrex. Tigrex is just so weird.
And Capcom even stated it was Tigrex, and then when they went to recording, they decided, nope, let's make it Tigrex.
Yep.
They went back on their word.
Exactly.
Speaking of the handler, I do appreciate that they're using one of the voice lines for her as one of the hunter voices you can pick. In the demo, if you pick the bow user, That is her voice actor.
I was gonna say, has that been confirmed, or is that just highly, highly likely? Because it does sound a hell of a lot like her. We don't know for sure, of course.
I have no idea.
But yeah, it certainly sounds like her. Yeah.
I don't think they have officially said it, but they might as well.
I like the handler. I thought the handler was a pretty cool character. I know that a lot of people hated her. I thought she was pretty cool.
There's a few things about her I don't like. I think she's just I've stated this a lot, but I think she's just a consequence of the way they utilized her character. But as a character herself, she's great. It's just they kept trying to give her lines like "We did it" and getting the player in trouble and then taking all the credit was like kind of the issue.
Yeah, there were many times where we had to save her because she got herself in trouble.
But this is
but
not
her
a
as a
bad
character
thing.
itself is nice.
Did you not like the handler, Kogath?
Not so much. Not so much. I didn't really like the serious handler as much either.
Yeah, I'm not a.
I've always been more of a fan of the A-lister, excitable A-lister, also known as Aiden. He cracks me up. I love his word puns.
Why can't we have him
that
as our
explosion was gnarly Kuga.
Exactly. I love it.
That was pretty good.
So they missed. I would have loved to see them go like crazy and just have fun with it. Like imagine if your handler's gone and then he becomes your handler and he renames all the quests like with puns. And so for like a small part of the game, every quest name is just like monster name puns, like to the extreme.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of them already are.
Yeah, but he brings it to a new level.
This is true. This is true.
Which one is your favorite handler out of all of the games? I mean, I don't know if we can include Rise because we haven't played it yet, so I don't think it should count. Unless you feel that strongly about the handlers in Rise.
I mean, they are rather beautiful, but it's got to be the Guildmarm.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I agree. Guildmarm was pretty much my favorite. Who knows? Maybe one of the twins will win me over. But I think it'll
here's
be hard.
The question: I want to debate with you guys on this one really quick. Are the twins going to be considered one Guildmarm like receptionist, or can we consider them a set, or is that cheating?
I think they'd have to be separate because their personalities seem different.
That's just straight up cheating. Gaijin's like, can I have my cake and eat it too? I want my cake and eat it too. It's like, no, you have to pick one. The thing is, I already have a waifu in Rise. Like, my heart is with Rondine. Rondine's my waifu. She's not a handler, but she is to me.
She can handle me if she wants to.
Oh! She's in my opinion the most interesting character from the stuff that we've seen so far. She rides around in a Portuguese ship. Obviously, that's like a big deal for me. And I even did like a little post where I dissected that I think that she's of Italian origin, like at least inspired from Italy because of like a musical instrument she's got there. Her name, which means swallow in Italian. And, just even
so actually, really quick question. I don't mean to side rail us because we got to get back to this, but Italian. Do any of you guys know Italian? Because I don't. I would love to.
I do not.
Parlate un poquito italiano.
So my question is, I've been trying to figure out how they're creating Rivarian. And I know that for the diva, they translated Japanese to French and then French phonetically back into Japanese and then they fudged it. I have a feeling, what if they're doing the same thing this time but with Italian? Is there any type of remnants of Italian words in those songs or no?
No, I don't think so.
No? God damn it.
I think it would be a different language. I don't think it would be Italian because I would probably recognize some Italian, even though I don't really speak Italian, I can recognize a couple of words. So I would probably pick up on some of them, and I don't think I have from the stuff that we've seen.
So back to waifus. Sorry about that.
So yeah, my waifu in Rise, Rondine, 100%. How about you, Kogath?
Just for Rise alone?
Where does your heart lie?
I'm not sure. There's no one that really stands out to me.
It's Hojo,
wow.
isn't it? It's Hojo.
He just straight up dropped the twins, just like whoosh.
Dream stomped.
Yeah, exactly.
No, if anything, it's the Tetsukabra that Hojo is riding on.
Oh my god, that little baby Tetsukabra, dude.
It's just too darn cute.
It is.
Nah, at this point, I'm kind of hoping there's more NPCs we haven't seen, but nah, none of them really jump out at me.
Dude, Rondine is so special.
Kogath is a sophisticated man. He needs to see the personalities and talk to them before he falls. He needs to get
me
and you we're like wild dogs. We see and we're like
shallow is the word that you're looking for. Very shallow. But it's like, hey, look, I actually look, well, this actually sounds a little bit like a creeper, but I actually looked into Rondine, right? I looked at her past. I'm like, I'm trying to figure out where she comes from. I show interest in her boat. It's a Portuguese caravel. Like, I'm at least trying to get to know her.
I don't know. Like the last time we talked, and I told you, obviously, I'm 100% my heart's with Minoto. Like, I don't know if at that point I knew it, but those derpy drawings that they're doing and all those posts, those are her drawing them. I did not know this.
They mentioned it recently.
So, yes, I missed the part. So on the official website, they have Minoto is the one drawing those really funky ones with like the Palamute dragging the hunter around, and they look really funny and cute.
Awesome. You don't like them?
I love them to death. That's what I'm saying is she's the one making the derpy drawings. That makes her even more waifu.
Exactly. See, there you go. That is that's pretty cool. I actually did not know that she was the one doing those drawings.
Yeah, I saw that on the website. I'm like, what?
The past week, I think they finally said that.
That's so cool. And I love the recent one that they had of hers. Like they popped up an image of, I think it was yesterday, of them popping up in like the Rampage with her and her sister, and then Hinoa is drawn really beautifully. Like you tell that she spent all her time trying to make her sister look good, and everyone else looks derpy as shit.
So we know she's a good sister.
She's a good sister, but she's the better sister, and we know it. So.
And to be honest, there's not
I
that
like them
much.
Both.
There's not many NPCs that really stand out on a waifu scale. I mean, there's a lot of them that seem like they're almost kids or are kids.
Yeah. It's all about Fugen, man. He's going to be the husbando to end all husbando.
I swear, he's got to be related to the Admiral. He is just too funny.
It can't be what's his name because his voice is too damn annoying. Hey, it's you. Hey, over here. That guy. What's his name?
Utsuchi?
Utsuchi, or Utsuchi, or whatever.
The master.
See, like I look at him visually, I'm like, oh, he could be husbando, and then I listen to it, and I'm like, nope.
I remember the NC. I always forget his NHC or NCH productions. I love his videos. He made. And he's just constantly popping up all over the place. He's just like, over here. Something happens, like someone explodes, some of that. Aha! It's just like constantly popping out completely out of context. Over here. It's funny because I haven't even done that quest all that much. I guess some people did it to like test out the weapons or something. And I guess they just
he will not shut up. Yeah, you could be on the top of the mountain and he's like, over here.
Yeah, I just tested the weapons on the other arena. Even there, he also calls you like every so often. Yeah, he does get annoying, little bastard.
So here's a question, Kogath, that's going to put you on the spot because I believe you have pet cats.
Yes, I do.
So, if you had to choose Palamute or Palico, which one you taking with you?
Oh, I've actually answered this one on social media before when they were doing the that little quiz that gives you your weapon type and then your partner's type. Both cats.
Damn,
my man. That's my man.
Not even gonna consider a good doggo.
I like the dogs for their maneuverability, being able to get to the hunt faster. But once I'm there, I'm gonna want both my cats. I'm gonna want one healing me and one putting down traps.
But it's like you're missing You're missing one of the best features of the dog that I actually think is overpowered. I talked about this, which is the fact that you can mount mid-fight and sharpen your weapon on top of the dog.
Well, I mean, when you're playing a weapon like Gunlance, you always have to sharpen, so we don't have that issue.
Yeah, this is very true.
Great sword sharpens maybe once a hunt, maybe.
See what you do, Capcom. See what happens. This is what happens. Like you know,
divides.
You're not wrong. You know, with the gun lance, you do like 1 full burst, 2 full burst, done.
Sharpen.
Time to go sharpen. Time to call in the dog. Like you can't even do more than 2
true,
full
though.
bursts.
It is more beneficial for weapons that do sharpen often.
I think that some of the speed runs that I see with the gun lance on Mizu, when people are speed running Mizu, is like usually the gun lance would end in either orange sharpness or red sharpness. Just like doesn't even shoot anymore. Doesn't even do anything. It's just
we
red.
Ain't got time to
broken.
put that thing away. We're committed. We're going for it.
Yeah, we're just gonna smack on this monster until this weapon don't work no more.
It makes me wonder if dog is going to be pretty much required for time attack stuff, since you got to get there as soon as possible.
I'm going to say I absolutely think no, because I've tried to time it out with you. We've actually gone into quests, and I would put myself where we know there's the side camp, right? And so I would start at the side camp, and she would start at the base camp, and we would race to different areas with me as using my wire bugs and cat, and her using the dogs or whatever. Or sorry, no, like I wouldn't use the dogs, and then she would do it with the dog, and we'd time it out. It's like identical. If not, there's like no difference. So I don't think, with the addition of side camps, I don't think it's going to be much of a difference at all.
If the monster moves areas, you can get there faster if you have the dog.
I don't know. It depends on the area, because you can scale things really fast when you're good with the wire bug.
Yeah, but like look at, for instance, the Rathian. Like whenever she repositions, she goes like halfway across the goddamn map. I've had hunts where I was hunting Rathian, and she would go, like she'd be in that little temple area at that gate, right? You fight her, which is where she usually starts. Then she would fly all the way down, close to the water, and then you'd get there, and the second that you'd get there, she'd fly all the way to the other side of the map, and I'm like, God damn it!
Like, but I think this is the reason why, and I'm curious in the full game, the second camp seems like my guess is that they're going to be in high areas, because that would allow you to actually get around really fast, even to her nest. You can get there. You can get to her nest like instantly if you take the side camp in the old shrine. It's I
actually don't even know where the second camp is.
Yeah, there's a very specific area there, and we saw in the TGS demo that it's there, so we know for sure where the second camp is, and it's actually it's up at the like the top has like the 2 long strips, and then like on the upper right is the Rathian nest. It's like right in the middle of those 2 strips.
Oh, okay.
So it's actually really well positioned. So, and because it's high up, you can get anywhere really fast.
So you're thinking like area 8?
I don't have the map, but I mean, I had a video where it was.
The map, so.
But yeah, I mean,
Mr. Wiki here. I've got the map up right now.
So I do not think that people who are not using dogs are going to be at a disadvantage when it comes to getting to the monster. If anything, getting to the monster with wire bugs is more advantageous because you can pick up buffs easier than if you were with the dog. Then again, wire bug and dog combined is a really strong combination.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be equal. I think
I don't know. I think that for most speed runs, I think you're going to be seeing a dog because of the ease of getting around the map fast. I definitely felt that in the demo, like every single time the monster would be moving away, I'd already be like pressing the button, dog, go.
I mean, honestly, though, considering speedrunners, I could very easily see them using neither. Turning off your companions is like the fastest way to play because you can control where the monster is focused.
Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, as a gun lance user with Guard Edge, there's a lot of situations where I got screwed over by the companions because like I see the tell and I know what you're doing. I'm like, okay, here's the point, guard edge, and then he just attacks like one of the companions. I'm like, God damn it! At least hit me so that I can sharpen my weapon. Because we already talked about how I need to sharpen my weapon all the time.
Yeah, Yuna and I were testing out new weapons and getting Iceborne. And we were testing it against Ruiner and Gigante, and we ended up having to take off our cats. We're like, we just can't keep track of where the heck the monster's going. He's running all around the place, going crazy, attacking the cats.
Yeah, if you have weapons that require like counters, like longsword and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was annoying.
The animals can be a problem.
And see, as greatsword, I don't mind it because then it lets me get at their back while they're distracted.
Yeah.
And I can I can sit there and get a triple charge, no problem, without getting interrupted.
While we're on the subject of speedrunning, though, what are your thoughts on the Festa event? Because this was the first time that the event came to the West, right?
Yeah, it was with Ice. Was it Iceborne? Yeah, Iceborne.
It was the Iceborne. Technically, they had a time attack before that, down at I think it was E3, but it wasn't called Festa. The PAX East one was the first one they finally called it Festa. And I did go to that one, and it was a lot of fun.
You actually went there? So the one that was broadcast and stuff with Chris?
Yeah, I was there. I did not participate, but I hung out with everybody, and we had an amazing time.
Oh, I've seen the pictures, and I'm like, I wish I was there.
That looks like so much fun.
I hope they continue doing them once all this COVID stuff is done with.
Yeah,
wasn't the commentators Herney and Shepard?
Yeah,
or was it Herney?
No, it was Herney and Chris.
Chris,
yeah, Herney and Chris from
they killed it. They were great. I love those guys.
It was pretty freaking awesome.
I think Wyverian was there as well. I think I saw pics with him in there.
Yep, we were hanging out with him.
Oh man.
Yeah, there was a lot of people.
Skaj was there, all right. Skaj Skull, I think is his name, was there as well.
Yes,
I remember seeing
he was
him.
there.
Yeah, there was a lot of people.
There was a really cute Guildmarm around. That was fun to see. Nice. I didn't see many other cosplayers.
But yeah, I find Festas interesting though, like from a community standpoint. I'm curious what your thoughts are on this on Kogath, is that we don't have a lot of Festas here in the West, so to say, where here in Japan, it's an annual thing. We celebrate Monster Hunter for the great mass with a speed run competition across the entire country. Kids, young adults, parents, men, women, dogs, cats, everyone goes to these things and enjoys like the general mass population enjoys watching speedrunners because it gives us like this. It shows us the pinnacle, like, okay, there's still a lot to learn still, and it's fun and it's exciting, and it just seems it felt like it was a little more niche because we just didn't have it in the West so much. But I love the concept that speedrunning is actually an integral part of the general community here. And I hope they do another Festa. I know America or even Europe is left out, obviously, unless they can fly. But I think the idea of Festas is a great idea.
I kind of feel like it was the plan, before all this COVID stuff hit. It seemed like they wanted to keep pushing it more and more.
Digital Festas would be interesting, maybe, but it's not quite the same as a stage event,
It's not the same. It's 100% not the same. Even like just playing online, because before all this COVID stuff, I used to hang out with a couple of friends of mine. We'd do like a PlayStation 4 LAN party back in the day, and we haven't done it since COVID, obviously, and it's just not the same to play online. Like, we don't even play online all that much because it's not the same as being there, right? Like, and just the thing of having people there and having it be an event, I think, is a completely different vibe. I was actually just remembering there was a group of 2 people that got screwed over by the wall bang, and they missed it like 4 times.
Oh yeah, they were so close on so many of them. I was just like, I feel your pain.
Like, she would just like turn right as she was about to hit the wall and was like, no. How could you? It's even painful for the people watching. You're like, no, that was the 100% wall bang. Like, what do you mean? But it was just really fun. The way that the community just like reacted to it, I feel like was really, really awesome.
I'm so jealous of you, Kogath.
I think they would have continued being a thing, and it was great seeing the winners from the E3 tournament they did, which I think that was still World. I think that was in 2018, but they showed up for the Festa one as well, and people knew, hey, that's the former winners. Let's see how they do here. And I think if we could continue something like that, it would go over great.
Yeah. Japan is lucky in that it's a small country. I mean, it's like the size of California. So one of the fun things that happens here is that every year when they do the regional speed run, they do a lot of rounds. It's not just one event; it's many events. You'll have team members from like the winning team last year with the member from the third placing team. They'll make a new team. Like every year they swap and they make new teams with each other. So like the top 20 people it's like the same mixed match of all of them. It's really interesting how they dedicate flying. They take trains out to meet each other and they play and they practice and do stuff like that. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, even when they did the worldwide event that they did over in Japan, where they brought over teams from other countries as well.
Yeah.
That was really good, and it was really cool seeing Shepard, someone I know personally, up there playing against awesome Japanese players.
Yeah, did you see that, Ruri, or no?
No, I haven't seen it.
That's pretty sweet. Oh man, I hope the world can. I hope we can get back to normal because I want to see Festas again. Oh.
Yeah, I agree. It was definitely really cool to just see. Ever since World came out, it's just been interesting because I never got to cover Monster Hunter because usually we've talked about this how it would come out in Japan and then like maybe a year after would come out in the West, and it's like, well, everybody's done tutorials and everything. There's nothing for me to create, and I don't know how to speak Japanese, so I'm not going to make tutorials when the game's still in Japanese. And just seeing the community kind of like flourish around these events in World was something that I personally really, really enjoyed. And, it just caused me to do a bunch of lobbies for people. Okay, you guys need to go farm Kulftaroth. Let's go. Boom. Here's a lobby. Everybody get in. Here's like a second lobby. I remember that the first time that Kulftaroth came around, I had going 5 lobbies at the same time. I think I had one of my friends and who's also a mod. He was just like setting them up because I would have the squad, but the squad is limited to like 50 people, so everybody wouldn't be able to join the squad. And so we would just like, okay, the first session of the squad is full, create a second session. Okay, guys, here's the second session. Put them like chat commands and stuff. And then it's like some people would come in, oh, I'm on Xbox. And I'm like, okay, just make a session. I'll add it to the bot. I'm on PC. Boom. There's like 5 or 6 different lobbies of people hunting Kulftaroth. It was friggin' insane. Like I was surprised that we were able to get so many people just like go through the monsters. And then I kind of did the same thing for Safi Jiva and Alatreon. Fatalis I probably didn't do as much. But yeah, I tried constantly doing all of those crazy community events, and it was a lot of fun. I think there's just been a lot of people in the West adopting the game because of the fact that there's not that gap in time between it coming out in Japan and then coming out in the West.
See, that's one of the things where I became the Wiki guy is back when it was that split. And so we'd be getting the Japanese versions, and we'd all kind of collaborate and try and figure out, all right, what key quests do we need to do to get the next rank and stuff like that? Or, what do I need to break to get this drop? And nowadays, now that we have, at least with World, I don't know if Rise has this yet, but we have our little hunter info book where we log, what they're weak against, what they drop. In World, it was only shown as stars, which isn't very
useful.
I don't know. It's not very useful, but you can still get a general idea of, okay, if I use fire against this monster, it'll do more damage. If they ever improve that system more, I don't even think we'll need wikis really. Just, have an in-game wiki. And then I can retire. I can go on, enjoy the game at my own pace instead of trying to speed run through the games when they first come out, gathering as much data as I can.
Damn. Speed running through a Monster Hunter game just sounds like a complete nightmare. I'm just be like, nope. Take my time. It took me like 200 hours, and I don't think I had finished Monster Hunter World, the base game, because I was like, nope, I'm having too much fun. I don't care. I'm not going to stop having fun because I need to progress in the game. Screw that. Just going to continue having fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of just doing stuff in the least amount of armor as you can and only upgrading your weapon or only upgrading a piece of armor if it gets like attack bonus, or sometimes, if you hit a wall, just screw it, armor. But I would not stop and grind. I would just kind of keep progressing as fast as I can.
Yeah, because you're curious, you want to know the info, you want to fill out the tables, I get it totally. It's there's a weird, not weird, but there's a huge amount of satisfaction in uncovering the details of something and having it all laid out on paper. Like, okay, I now see the full picture. We've got all of it.
Yeah, definitely.
So a while ago, me and Gaijin answered the community question, which is, what would be our favorite Elder Dragon to make a return in Rise? And before we tell you what our answer was, I would like to invite you to answer that question.
So amusingly, it froze right when you started that question. So could you repeat it again?
This is that Capcom thing where you're not allowed to talk about Elder Dragons.
Yeah, literally, he was like, so my question is, and then it froze.
Boom. Boom. So me and Gaijin answered this question a couple of podcasts ago, which is, what would be your favorite Elder Dragon if we could choose any of the Elder Dragons to make a return in Rise?
Oh man. I would say Amatsu, just because of how well it fits the theme of the game. Like, it's one of those things I feel is almost guaranteed to be in, but yet at the same time, I doubt it because they kind of seem to be going for newer stuff. But it would be such a good fit for Rise.
I don't know, with that crazy Elder Dragon that they showed, I don't know if Amatsu would be maybe too similar.
Yeah, I could see that being a thing too.
But you want to take a crack at guessing which one me and Gaijin said, because we both picked the same one.
Oh, geez. I don't know. There's too many. Actually, yeah. No. Knowing Gaijin, is it Gagmazios?
No.
No.
We both picked Duran Moran.
Oh, jeez.
You're just a little bit off.
So I love Gogma. It is probably my favorite Elder Dragon, or at least in my top 2 or 3. Because your favorites say cycle every day, right? But yeah. It's definitely like my favorite. But I think that the reason why it was my favorite is because of just the arena and how they had it. And I think it worked so well because of the game it was in. Like, I'm not sure if that hunt would be as exciting when we have wire bugs flying around everywhere, for example. It might be too easy.
And they could definitely tailor it to be different. And we do have Sandy Plains now. It could fit in. It would have to be, its own arena offshoot of Sandy Plains, but it's still in the area.
I still want to see Atal Ka, but now, like, in Rise, like, that thing is too small. Can you imagine 4 Palamutes and 4 hunters all whacking on that poor little mantis? You wouldn't even be able to see it.
True.
Yeah, I did. Did you do any 4-player multiplayer hunts, Kogath, in Rise, in the demo?
I have, yes. There's a lot of action going on. It's kind of hard to keep track sometimes, but I don't know. I try to just focus on the monster and not worry as much what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, I made the mistake of taking a lance into a full lobby. That was it was not a good time. Between the
Just imagine
hunting,
if it was all longsword users.
no,
Oh,
it was actually worse. There was also one longsword user, but here's the wombo combo that I took to the face. There was the longsword user, there was a dual blades user, but interestingly enough, these two weren't even the worst. You want to know who was the worst? It was the hunting horn user.
Oh,
Those goddamn shockwaves. I was like,
I can't move.
I couldn't move at all.
I forgot it does that.
Yeah, dude. I hope that we can get a brace jewel like really early on, because otherwise, yep, it's gonna be a nightmare. Particularly if you're playing multiplayer with someone with a hunting horn. Yeah, they're gonna destroy you. Hunting horns are like the new longswords when it comes to staggering the crap out of people.
A lot of times they don't bother me too much with the tripping and stuff, since Greatsword has some super armor to it, but
Yeah.
gun lance users will knock me around.
Oh.
Excuse me? How? How are gun lance?
Little shot.
The little
that
shot?
forward
What?
shot will knock me over, or I'll end up getting hit by the
forward shot. I'm confused. Which forward shot? The worm stake?
Just that first single type. The first single shot.
The first single shot.
Yeah, back when you could just fire it forward in front of you.
Just the shell? Just like
yeah, just the first shell. I'm not talking just for Rise. I mean in general.
Oh,
Gun lancers have been a bane of my greatsword for a while.
Interesting. So yeah, my first one was not longsword. It was my first experience with tripping was switch axe, and it ended up being the last weapon I touched because I was traumatized, and I said, "I'm not touching that piece of shit weapon." I was so upset because I was hunting with a coworker who was unga bunga and did not look around at all, and would constantly do wild chops and flinch the living shit out of me, a lance player. Oh, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, that's exactly the motion.
And so I got so upset that I said, I'm not learning this crappy ass weapon. But at the end of 3G, I decided to finally learn it. I fell in love with it. I said, okay, he just sucked at playing. He was inconsiderate. But like, I was traumatized, like hardcore.
I actually miss the ability of being able to throw people with shield bashes with the sword and shield. Because like,
get out of here.
Because of the fact that I played World and then went back and played GU with some friends. Like I remember I was playing with this friend of mine who plays Charge Blade, and he would always be telling me, "What the hell happened? Why am I getting launched into the air?" And I'm like, "I don't know, dude. I'm not doing anything." It was like the final hit of the shield. Yeah, I'm a sword and shield user. Who the hell am I going to throw? The final hit of the shield bash would launch people into the air.
That was fun.
It was funny because
back when they added mounting, I was purposely upswinging people with my greatsword just so they could get the mounts.
Oh yeah. Up you go. Through. It's the behind the back one, right? X and A. They'll send people up in the air, right?
Yep. And the thing is also when you get round force level 3 on GU, they say you can support your teammates by sending them flying. Turns out my teammates didn't care for that kind of support.
I don't know if you guys did the in GU if you did the Sakura method for mining charms at all, but that
I didn't know.
No, Rory, do you even know about this or no?
And where?
The Sakura method for mining charms in Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate.
Is it the one from what's it called?
Not Brachydios.
Not Brachy? Okay, then no. Then I don't know.
Not the Brachydios. So there's a quest where you delivered coal in the volcano. And there was a way to split it up with 4 people where you could deliver the amount of coals you needed to do pretty fast. But if you delivered, I think it was like 11 or something. It was like a very specific number that if you delivered it, it would give you like a shit ton of charms. It was almost like a bug, like a design bug, and everyone exploited the hell out of it. And it was called the Sakura method because the Japanese user who stumbled upon this fluke of a bug was watching Sakura card capture, like the anime, as he was just messing around. And so they called it the Sakura method. But it always ended with all 4 people back at camp in the delivery box. And so we would do this scene hundreds of times. Hundreds. And so at the end of every single coal run, you'd have the sword and shield users launching each other. You'd have the great sword users launching people. And it was just a launch festival at the end of every quest. It was hilarious.
I mean, that's the end of pretty much every quest in my lobbies, is although usually people just focus on either shelling me or throwing me or doing bad things to me. Not really among themselves, just me specifically. And I'm like, okay, thanks.
Yeah, target you.
You always go after the caster.
Yes.
That's what
I do the same thing at the end of hunts. It's get your carves and all right, PvP mode.
Bomb time.
I mean, we actually have legit PvP now with Rise. That was the first thing that not the first thing, but it was the second thing that I did on the second day that the demo was live. Because I got a friend of mine that's like, listen, we need to mount these monsters at the same time, and then we're going to fight each other with these 2 monsters. And we did like Great Izuchi versus Rathian versus Mizu. And the conclusion was that Great Izuchi is just friggin' overpowered when it comes to wyvern riding. It was such a
he's
beast.
great.
Like, that doesn't matter what you're doing with the other monster. You do that friggin' the tail hop thing where it just like jumps into the air and then like bam! That thing just destroys. It is the hardest hitting thing and out of all the monsters in the demo.
You know what else has PvP? Monster Hunter Stories.
Yep. Yeah, the PvP in Stories was awesome. Where you'd go head to head.
A lot of the time you try and focus on the hunter just to take them out.
Oh yeah. I was telling Rurikhan, I was hinted to you about that stream I did where it was me versus was it Apex Gaming? He was using his you can fuse the DNA of the monsters together and so that they can learn moves from other monsters and elements and stuff. So he had a poop breathing Devil Joe. So he had took Kongalala's poop and he attached it to his Devil Joe.
Oh, God.
And so this thing was a Devil Joe that caused like the shit status or whatever it was called. It was not called the shit status, okay, but, but it was him and his Devil Joe up against me, and I believe I was using my Stygian back then still. That was a really fun stream we did, but the PvP was awesome. So you're excited for co-op, I know, and I am as well, but I'm also excited for the return of PvP as well. There's going to be some really fun tournaments and streams that people are going to have for that.
Dude.
For Stories too?
Yeah, I'm assuming PvP is going to be back. I'm assuming. We don't know, but
I'm going to need to get
pretty sure.
I'm going to need to get good at that, and then I'm just going to host a live stream, beat the crap out of everyone with, like, if there's a Basil Goose in there, just, like, modify my Basil Goose to be the biggest, baddest mofo in town, and then just, like, carpet bomb people left, right, and center.
I can't wait. Stories 2 is going to blow everyone's mind, I think. It's going to be great.
It is going to be awesome.
I'm looking forward to it. That's day one purchase for sure.
Yeah, I think that.
Do you see yourself stopping to play Rise as you go crazy on Stories? Because that's kind of like what I'm assuming is going to happen with me.
Probably. I mean, there's a good chunk of time between the two.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll land on one of those lulls. They'll probably also avoid releasing DLC around that time to not divide people's attention. At least if I was running their marketing, that's what I would do. I'd be like, nah, dude, we don't want we don't want these 2 games competing for attention. It's like, listen, you guys really enjoyed Rise. Now you guys take a break from Rise. Here's friggin' this one. Here's Stories 2. And then, like a month down the line or something, here's some more Rise stuff so that you can get back to it. And I wonder if they would support Rise, if they would support Stories too, the same way they're supporting Rise with like incremental DLC, like maybe more dungeons for people to do in co-op. Like 2 months after release, 3 months.
I know they did do updates for Stories 1. The only problem was, I'm getting to that. The only problem was Nintendo was the ones handling it, and they dropped the ball completely.
Mm-hmm.
They did not support the game post-launch at all. Only
So we got
in the West. Japan got a bunch of updates and even some. I think they were tie-ins with the anime.
yeah, we even got new monsters that the West didn't get.
Damn. They did us dirty.
They did. It was dirty. But lest we never forget, though, Capcom is not perfect. They also dropped the ball in one of the areas that I was quite upset about, which was Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. So that was a game that I didn't think they were going to bring out because it was just I think a scheduling mistake on their part when it came to just the slate of all the titles. The world was coming and everything. So when they announced it was coming, I was like really surprised. It's I understand, but it sucked that they cut out the 3DS version because I know there's people who did not have a Switch and they didn't get access. That sucked. But the thing they did that I can't quite forgive is there was a very important skill for the Prowlers. It was only available as a DLC skill for the cats. It was like, I think in Japan, it was like 9 months after launch. They finally released a cat with weakness exploit. And then from that DLC cat, you could teach it to all your other cats. They didn't release that cat in the West.
Yeah, I remember going around.
How do you not release weakness exploit for cats? Are you kidding me? So that upset me. Damn. So the only way people have it is through hacked data and stuff like that. They're sharing cats where they hacked it back in the game because it was there. It was just needed to be unlocked. That was it. And they didn't do it.
Couldn't you share your cat across regions? Weren't you share? Oh no, you can't, right? The multiplayer is region locked.
I got it.
Huh. Yeah, I forgot about
that one. Unfortunately, was region locked.
That sucked. So, out of all of the monsters that were announced for Monster Hunter Rise, which one is your favorite one so far? Particularly out of the new ones.
Oh man, out of the new ones?
Yeah, because the old ones, they're old. We want to look at the new ones, the new and improved. Well,
the new spider,
Raknakadaki.
Yeah, that one looks really interesting. I always liked Nursella. It was a fun monster, but this one's completely different.
It is very different from Nursella, and that's actually one of the things that I'm a little bit like, I don't know how I feel about it, because with we've only seen limited footage, right? But the movements that she does, the new one, Rachna, they're like, whatchamacallit, she just kind of moves forwards and backwards from what we've seen, and I really like the swinging aspect of Nursella, the way that she would almost web sling like Spider-Man. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, this one's definitely more ground based, and then who doesn't love a flame breathing spider?
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
It's probably my favorites are probably a tie between that one and Gosharog, especially after we saw it use basically ice dual blades.
How about that turf war? Oh, Gaijin just got a Dark Souls shirt with a picture of a bonfire. Nice. That's a good one.
My Fan Gamer Japan shipment just came in.
I got it.
I got this for you. I know you guys can't see it, but it's a.
That's from Undertale. That's Sans.
Yeah, Undertale shirt.
I haven't never even played Undertale, and I can recognize the Sans skeleton.
It's one of those things that exploded all over social media, and so I know it. I've never played it.
Yep. What the hell is that?
You never played Undertale?
Me neither.
Yeah, never played it.
Oh my god.
Shocked face.
you need to write that wrong. It's a gem.
Yeah,
I've heard it has similar to Earthbound, which I love Earthbound.
You will love Undertale. It's so good. And it's on Game Pass now too if you have an Xbox, which I am assuming most people don't, but I do.
You can get Game Pass games on PC.
Yeah, so they just added Undertale. You can play it. It's great.
But the PC Game Pass a lot of times is different from the one that you get on Xbox, I hear.
No.
Yeah, you don't get the exact same games to get an Xbox. Xbox gets a little bit of a preferential treatment with that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah. And
so I have a weird.
Go for it.
No, I was gonna say if it's okay to jump topics, I have a weird topic I wanted to ask you guys about.
Go for it.
Which is this is something that was coming up in a less than positive conversation yesterday, but it's a fun topic, which is comfy sets. Like I know none of us are speedrunners, and we don't always use the optimal sets, so to say. Like we don't just go crazy just trying to get really fast hunts. What type of skills do you use on your main weapon that is more like a comfy set? It's something that's just it's cozy, it's fun to hunt with. It's like I use recovery up level 3. I've done it many times in Iceborne and I found that fun because you just don't have to have her heal again, and that's kind of nice and stuff like that. Is there any fun types of weapon and skill combinations that you do that you feel is very comfortable and fun and nice? What do you do?
Focus. Just let me charge that much faster so I don't have to worry about it.
Is that not a meta skill for Greatsword though? Focus is pretty much meta.
Kind of, but at the same time, it's just one less thing I have to worry about. It's like, oh, I know I'm probably not going to get interrupted during this charge because I'll get it out quicker.
Do you have any skills that you use with Greatsword that would be considered less mainstream or less common? Like, do you run Punish Draw or anything interesting like that?
It's actually been a little more common nowadays, I've noticed. With the crit draw and then punish set, it's really nice, not gonna lie. Just getting those KOs.
I mean, hell, I don't even play Greatsword, and I had a set like that, particularly after the Frostfang Barioth set or whatever. You could get
that was a great set.
Yeah, like you could have the Frostfang Barioth thing, and then on top of it, you'd put like 4-piece Arch-Tempered Velkhana, and that thing's like chunk. It's like when you hit. I remember eventually going with that set to like Safi. I wouldn't even charge. I just like slap, slap, slap until it breaks.
Oh, I know one. Guard. Guard I love using as a great sworder.
Oh,
Guard a lot with my great sword. I barely ever see anyone do it.
Yeah, as I said, this is feeding into my. It's gonna be. I've been claiming it every podcast. I think the new fun, comfy meta for Rise is going to be guard on everything. So guard, how far do you go on guard with greatsword? All the way,
as much as I can get without impacting the rest of my skills too much.
Interesting. I wonder if they ever add in combo pass from a guard from a greatsword, then it would become quite substantial, I think. Can you imagine if you can go straight into like a strong charge after you do a guard or something?
That would be nice.
So
make it happen, Capcom.
When it comes to Gunlance, here's the thing. While I will say that if I had to pick one comfy skill for the Gunlance, it would 100% be Evade Extender. I don't even know if I can consider that a comfy skill, because I think Evade Extender on Gunlance at this point is pretty much meta. Like you can barely play the weapon if you don't have Evade Extender. So the one skill that is a little bit off the norm that I love having in my Gunlance sets is Part Breaker. I love.
That's always nice.
It's like people would always give me crap when I put up Part Breaker because it doesn't actually, because with World you got these vocal minorities of people that feel like
it doesn't make the hunt any faster. It doesn't do true damage.
It doesn't make damage. It just breaks things, and I'm like, exactly. I want to break things. I like breaking things. It's fun. You should try it sometime. Not to mention that back in base world, when I was trying to make long shelling work, I remember at one point I made this set which was like artillery and all of the comfy skills that you would need for the Gunlance, and then 3 points Part Breaker. And I went against Nergigante, and I'm not a speedrunner, so I didn't do the stuff that they usually do to like speed up your start and whatnot. But from the moment I started the fight, the moment I finished it, it took like 1 minute to kill regular Nergigante. Because basically I went with the Gunlance to him, And, it took me a while to like position him properly and whatnot. But once he was positioned and I started shelling, he's just like, boom, fall over, boom, fall over. Boom. And he was just like breaking. It was like 2 shots, horns gone, another shot, horns in the leg gone. It's like breaking him all over the place. And I was like, this is great. People are like, oh, you shouldn't use Part Breaker. It doesn't actually deal damage. I'm like, nope, but it breaks stuff. It's a lot of fun. I like breaking things.
Which leads to opportunities, which leads to damage.
It gives you
Have you tried, my guilty pleasure in Iceborne is level 3 free meal.
Oh, man. Yeah, that is legit. I did some...
Every time Yuna and I are trying to make all these sets, and I'm like, okay, I know we should be putting stuff like, we have our agitator, but I'm like, we should have peak performance or something. I'm like, no, man. I'm like, divine blessing level 5 free meal. Like, I cannot live without these things. They are too comfortable.
Dude, my last set, the thing that it had because with Fatalis, you could pretty much get what skills do you want, bro? You want all of the skills in the game? Go for it. It's not hard. So the one skill that I ended up picking up that I really liked was Tool Specialist.
Oh yeah, that everyone's using that. Like has the time you can just mantle yourself to crazy. Here's one that people don't. There's 2 skills that I notice people don't generally use unless they have to, but I really like them. One is speed sharpen.
Yep.
Speed sharpening is so good.
No, listen.
It is nice just to do that one pass and be good.
No. Listen. You're good. Listen. Let me explain something. There's this item called the Wet Fish Plus or whatever the hell.
I've never used it.
I farmed that they had an event quest where you could farm it, and I farmed like, I don't know, friggin' 50 of it because it doesn't end after 1 sharpen. No, actually I think I had like 100. I had a friend of mine that farmed like 500 of those things. I'm like, you're crazy, dude. Like, that's insane. But like, I farmed like 100 of them, and that's what I would use. Like, that's how I got my solo kill on Alatreon was with that. Like, I would not stop the sharpen. It would just be like, ching, good to go. The Wet Fish Stone Plus or whatever the hell they call it.
Oh, man. Yeah. How about speed eating? Have you guys ever tried using that?
Oh, yeah. I've used that one on Tigrex sets.
It's so good. It's like, boop. Done.
That and free meal was a part of this set that I called the White Mage set, because White Mages in Final Fantasy, they heal. So basically I would just run around with sword and shield, and I would have friendship level 5, speed eating, glutton, free meal, not glutton, whatever. I had all of the eating things basically. I don't think I had Mushromancer though, because I stopped using that. But I would still buff people with like Mega Demon Drug and stuff. Like, go, boom, 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 boom. Just like drink everything. It was crazy. I actually healed a lot of the runs that I did for Behemoth. I would heal people so that they would get through Behemoth easier. I just run around with Sword and Shield healing people, because that way people wouldn't have to actually worry about their safety. It's like, doesn't matter.
There is one skill that I would put on often, because I normally just have like a free slot, Fortify. Because if I cart, oh well, I'll come back stronger. And with as casually as I play, carts happen. Oh no. And I just, all right, now I'm even stronger. I'll finish the fight.
Yeah. I did some sets with Fortify. My set for Fatalis definitely had Fortify. And I would actually suicide the first 2 runs to get the maximum effect out of it.
Another skill I use that no one seems to use is on Hunting Horn. I do like having the Stamina Thief.
Can't say I've seen that one.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody else use it, but Stamina Thief is great because the Hunting Horn, people just don't seem to understand. Like, the hammer does more KO damage, the horn does stamina damage. Like, you can exhaust monsters really fast if you're using a max amount on a horn. It's crazy.
I know what you're talking about. You haven't seen my Blunt Force Trauma set. I didn't use it on the Hunting Horn, but I did use it on the hammer. Good old
just sitting there drooling the entire hunt, like like panting and drooling. Is great.
5 stacks of KO King, 3 stacks of Stamina Thief. Is like, so good. It was a little bit overkill, but it still felt so good to constantly see them drilling. The problem was that it didn't work on elders, so it had limited usability.
Yeah. But no, I like compy skills. It's a fun topic. Mushroom-mancer is another fun one that people use. It's just there's so many fun skills in the game. It'd be a shame for people not to have fun and play around with some of them.
I liked seeing some of the stuff that Chaos Slayer did to optimize farming decorations. He would put stuff like a speed gathering and master gatherer and crazy stuff like that. Basically, he'd be optimizing the time it would take to pick up herbs off the ground. And I was like, wow, dude, taking it to the next level. But it was effective. Like, it would actually cut down the hunting time significantly because you're not sitting down there slowly picking up herbs. And he farmed a ton of decorations like that. Pretty freaking wild.
You could even consider stuff like earplugs a comfy skill. I mean,
dude.
roars aren't really that bad, but in the time it takes for a monster to roar, I can get a great sword charge off.
Actually, I almost forgot about that, but I would use that on so many of my sets, particularly when I was playing Charge Blade. And people were like, why would you use earplugs on a weapon with a shield? And I'd be like, because when you're blocking, I'm super amped elemental discharging. It's like, that's
exactly.
Well, you can guard point. You can do. Trust me, man. Not having to worry about that stuff makes a huge difference.
It was funny. I would always get a lot of crap from people like, why would you use earplugs? Like, because I like it. I don't care.
Earplugs are great.
Earplugs are awesome.
So I guess the final question for me for today on my list of things is there's something they announced last night which I thought was interesting in one of the posts on Twitter for Magnamalo and Rise, which was they stated that there's no limit on how many times you can cart during a rampage. So I think the idea is because
that on the Japanese posts?
Yeah. So I think the idea is that if they break the gate, you fail the mission, right? And so if you cart, that's some downtime that's going to really hurt you, right? You're already getting punished. So I think the idea is like you can cart several times if it happens, it's fine. But the race is really to protect the stronghold. So I thought that was interesting. I like it. It takes the stress off. It's a little less thing to worry about, but it also I think it raises the stakes because I think when you cart that, like if you're in the back end of the Rampage arena and you cart, I imagine trying to get back there in time, the Apex is just going to be rampaging and just ripping the area to shreds. So I like that they made that choice, actually. I mean, we'll have to play it in game to know for sure, but it feels right to me. I was curious about what you guys think.
See, the whole thing just reminds me of the old Lao fights, protecting the fortress. This is just amped up to the next level and kind of cutting out all the downtime you would have while waiting for him. No, I think this is great. Obviously, there's going to be downsides to getting carted, but hopefully you have friends with you and they pick up the slack while you're carting.
Everybody fortify.
yeah, I know. Fortify will be fun because it's like, go ahead, cart me.
I don't know. That mode makes me the more I see stuff about that mode, it makes me like a little bit wary of it because I keep looking at it and being like, feels so arcade. Like the fact that you no longer have to load your weapons, you don't have to, now you don't have to worry about how many times you cart. And just the chaos that is friggin' 4 or 5 monsters all in the map at the same time. Like, I don't know.
Very different, yeah.
It is extremely different from traditional hunting. And like I've said, I think that people are either going to love it or they're going to hate it. I don't think there's going to be an in-between.
Yeah, I can agree with that. And thankfully, it's its own separate mode. But I think it's just the evolution of the Lao quest.
Yeah, it's like its own, like we had sieges in the one game, we've got that. So this is like the game's version of it, but they've made it more accessible so they can use multiple monsters in it. But they seem to be banking heavy on it, so I'm going to trust that they know what they're doing, and I'm sure I'm going to like it.
It's just essentially a tower defense, and I like those kind of games.
I've never played tower defense, so I'm probably going to suck at it. I just know I see monsters, I kill it.
Yeah, I mean, there'll be hunters that are setting up the cannons and stuff like that, and then there'll be other ones down on the ground just hitting them.
I see Blue Boy. I attack him. That's all I know.
Yeah, the one
Blue.
that's the gate crasher. Yeah, get him first.
Those guys are probably going to be a bit of a menace.
Oh yeah. But Ruri, you're just looking forward to blasting that huge ass cannon that they showed in the trailer.
Dude, right? The splitting wyvern shot. Did you see that, Kogath? Did you see that glorious splitting wyvern shot?
Yes, I did.
Oh my god! I did like a video analysis of it, and it's just like as I was seeing the explosion, it just got better every single frame because the explosion begins and you're like, oh, that's a big explosion, and then there's like a beam of light erupts from the middle, like, might as well make a goddamn mushroom cloud over there.
It's the hammer of dawn integrated into Monster Hunter.
Dude. I was like,
I do think it's interesting that they seem to tailor the type of monster to each monster. So like Arzuros specifically goes after hunters, and then ones that have wings are typically the ones that are what are they called? Targeters, the ones that are just up in the air shooting stuff.
Attack the hunting
and then we have
installations.
Kezu, that's a gate crasher because it's good at penetrating.
Oh, good God. It's penetrating the wall. It broke through. Oh!
It's penetrating our defenses. Oh my god.
The amount of fun little chat messages we can create for that is going to be funny. The Kezu's penetrating the stop it.
I hope
they bring back more stickers too for those.
Oh my god, that'd be so much fun.
I was kind of sad that initially when you see on the very first time that you see Minoto and Hinoa coming up, you start thinking, oh my god, the villagers are going to fight alongside us, but it looks like they're going to be more of a one-time use thing from the way that they've shown in the last footage. So yeah, I wonder
how OP they are.
Good point. That friggin'
because I have the feeling they do look like they're kind of like limited use.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying. Rory. It's like it is very arcadey. They come up and they're almost like little statues you're summoning, right? And then they do their move and then they leave, and
they're kind of like a Dragonator, basically. It's like here's a Dragonator. Yeah. But yeah, I was hoping that they would actually fight alongside you, and it would be like an option for people that are not going to be able to play multiplayer either because they don't want to have Nintendo Online or whatever. It would be a cool thing to have the villagers kind of like helping you out.
You just want to hunt with Rondine.
I do want to hunt with Rondine. You know she's a Gunlance main, right? 100%. The Italians, they had gun lances, dude. Italian technology. The pasta
I can't wait until we play the game. We find out that she's a bow main, and then you just are crushed.
Now, why would you?
I bet she uses a longsword. Yeah,
longsword. Yeah.
I mean, Argosies tendedly used the longsword in the past.
That's true. Stream stopped.
I don't like the two of you anymore. One says bow, the other one says longsword. Jesus Christ. I'd rather she use a heavy bowgun or something.
No, that's Yomogi's weapon. It's like half the size of her body, and she's like, I showed you that picture that someone made that said they had the picture of her all deadpan with the heavy bowgun, and it said peace was never an option. I should have told me that. I translated it, and she was just laughing her ass off.
Oh, it's good. Peace was never an option. Just like a big ass heavy bowgun ready to pop. It's not like the buddy kid has a small weapon. He's got like a huge ass charge blade as well. It's like bigger than him.
Got to give the biggest weapons to the littlest kids.
Oh yeah,
exactly. Freaking insane. But
we are days away from the launch.
How many days is it at this point? Because like for me, it's 6 days. Because I'm looking at the clock right now. It's 6 days, but
no, it's less than 6 here. It's 5 days and X amount of hours for us.
Yeah,
it's 5.5.
It's like technically speaking,
it's Saturday. Yeah,
it's Saturday for you.
It comes out Friday.
No, listen. It's Saturday for you. Okay, for us, it's still Friday. Well, technically speaking, it's Saturday for me as well because it's 1:30 in the morning. But I only count the day changing after I've hit the bed, even if for 5 minutes. If I don't touch the bed, the day hasn't changed. Okay, I'm still in the previous.
Yeah, I could see that. In normal verbatim, that's how I do it for sure.
Yeah, so it's like for us, it's still Friday. So technically, it's a week away because it comes out next Friday.
So here's a question for you guys: are you getting digital or physical? And if you're getting digital, are you going to start playing from midnight when it's unlocked, or what?
I'm going for digital just to guarantee I get it on time.
Yeah.
And right at midnight.
Yeah, no waiting, right? Just jump right in. You'll be the same. You're going to be jumping in as soon as you can.
Pretty much the same. The second I can jump in, I'm jumping in.
The two of us, we're gonna be like, mailman, come on, mailman, hurry up, get your ass here. It's gonna feel like freaking Christmas morning,
exactly.
Or some shit. We're gonna because I have it set from Capcom Store to deliver in the morning, but I know that the morning is kind of like not defined, so they might come around 11, 12ish, and the guy's gonna come with huge ass boxes. We got 2 big ass Palamutes coming in, so.
Oh man. I'm so jealous. Like I miss the experience of like opening up a collector's edition. Like,
see, with digital, the preload has already gone live, so it's already downloaded, and now all I gotta wait.
How the hell did they fit all of this in like 7 gigabytes? It's ridiculous. They are so good at compression.
I think it's actually lower. I think they ended up doing it at 6. I'd have to double check.
It's crazy. It's just like, I really appreciate that, and I think it needs to get called out. Like when companies spend the effort to really optimize and to compress, it helps everybody at the end. Where you get like these weird like Western publishers, and they're like, "Oh, this game is 60 gigabytes" and some shit like that.
I was super surprised because I remember when I downloaded World, it was also pretty small.
Oh yeah,
it was like 17 gigs or something like that. Base World, it was super small. The problem is that on the PlayStation, at least, whenever there's a patch, good God,
you download everything.
No, it doesn't download everything. The download is actually pretty fast, but then you're stuck on the copying file portion for like years. And because I always play on PlayStation, it's like 1 hour of my streams is just all of us looking at my copying files thing, just waiting for it to do it. Yeah, like if you go back and watch whenever there's like a big Monster Hunter event, like the release of Call of Roth or something like that, like there's a big chunk of my stream where it's just me sitting on that blue screen looking at it go slowly up, and everybody in chat reporting their own progress, going like, I'm at 30%, I'm at 50%, figuring out whoever is the fastest one to get there. But when did the preload become available?
Today.
Oh, okay. I gotta turn on my Switch. I've just been playing Final Fantasy 14. Gotta turn on my Switch, go download the preload. But yeah. On that note, guys, we are about 5, depending on where you live, days away from Monster Hunter Rise. This is pretty much an extra episode of the Third Fleet podcast because we still have an episode coming next week. It is going to be a little bit later than usual, so bear with us. But I think you guys are gonna like it. I think it's gonna be pretty cool. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, do remember there's gonna be links to everyone's stuff on the description of this video for Kogath stuff, for Gaijin stuff. It's all going to be down there so that you guys can go check it out. Anything that you would like to plug, sir, Kogath?
Nah, I'm good. I mean, everyone knows me on Twitter and on the wiki itself, so
this camera, let us know what's going on in your life.
It's like nowadays I don't stream anymore. I've settled down on it. I'm just here to hunt with people.
Amen to that.
There you go.
I'm just here to.
That is going to be it for this episode, guys. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe.
Ciao.
Damn it!
Happy hunting.